What's going on? What's going on? How's everyone doing tonight? How's everyone doing tonight? I'm on in. I'm on in. I see Axel already at it with the shenanigans. Shout out to Axel, Miss Red Nose Pit in the building. Shout out to Pippi. Mark running a few minutes late, applying stage makeup. Nah, wasn't applying stage makeup. Little powder. Yeah, I turned the lights down tonight. I actually turned the lights down tonight because I did see a little glare on the last video, and I am a dark skinned person, and I got to play with the lights. I'm not a lighting expert, so I turned the lights down a little bit. I did do that tonight. What's going on? Brian Watkins in the building. Miss Red Nose Pit. Haven't seen Miss Red Nose Pit in a while. I've been gone for a minute, but you're back. Okay. Who else we got? Sean Bailey, Joe Gonzalez. Shout out to Joe Gonzalez. Um, I actually gifted 5 people a membership earlier. Actually, the system generated it. I just paid for the memberships. The system generated those free memberships based on engagement. So those members that you see at the top that says Mark the Mentor gifted a free membership, I didn't pick those people. The system automatically generated those people due to the engagement I just paid. So they get a free 1 month membership courtesy of me. Detroit, Michigan, Interstate Screw in the building. How's everybody doing? How's everybody doing? I'm doing well. I'm feeling a little bit better. So I hope everyone's doing well. I hope no one catches that bug that's going around tonight. Hey yo, I've been thinking I'm a rapper every time the intro play. Well, go ahead and spit. Go ahead and spit a lyric. Record it and send it to me. And if it's cold, then I'll switch the intro and I'll put you on the intro. I don't mind doing that. You know. All right. So tonight we're gonna be talking about controlling cash flow. All right. So this is gonna be a continuation of Thursday night. And like I said, when I said last week, or maybe I said it Thursday, I'm just gonna focus my live streams back on educating, um, as far as this box truck cargo van space. I'm gonna keep seeing where the issues are based on what people are telling me, and then I'm just gonna focus on those things. I'm not really concerned about viewership and doing topics that are going to garner a lot of uh, uh, not engagement, but a lot of viewers. So the information is going to be put out here for the people who are interested in the information. They'll be here. A lot of these lives that I'm going to be doing, and like the ones I recently did, like Friday night and last Thursday. You can utilize this information in other businesses. So it's like you're getting box truck, cargo van information from someone who's experienced in it, but you're also getting lessons in business. All right. So we talked about paying yourself Thursday. Was that Thursday or was that Sunday? I think it was Thursday. Friday night, I did a pop up live. And tonight, we're going to do like a continuation of this past Thursday from paying yourself. We're going to talk about cash flow. This is an issue that I see a lot of people have, which is kind of like I said, continuation of not being able, knowing how to pay yourself. A lot of people just don't have cash flow. They're making the money, but they don't know how to maintain cash flow. They don't understand what cash flow is. They don't understand the difference between cash flow and net profit. They don't even know that there is a difference. All right. So this is business. These are business skills that I'm going to show you how to incorporate into your business to make you and to help you run your box truck or your cargo van business or whatever it is you're doing more efficiently. This is stuff that I learned in school. This is also stuff that I learned, just from, running a business over the years. So hopefully you guys get some type of value from this information that my mama spent a lot of money for me to go to school for. Man, when I started college in 98, came out in 03. So 20 plus years ago. So I didn't get no financial aid. She had to spend that bag. So hopefully y'all get some value from that. Plus, my hands-on experience. So hit that like button as you come on in. Hit that like button as you come on in. And without further ado, we are going to get straight into it. I'm not going to waste too much of y'all time on this Sunday night because, like I said, I've been aggressively trying to cut these lives down, but it don't seem like it's going to work. We're going to see if we can keep this one at 2 hours, 2 to 2.5 hours. All right, so let's get into it. All right, so controlling cash flow for your box truck cargo van business. All right, this is what we're going to be talking about tonight. Like I said, there is a difference between cash flow and net profit. Just because you got money coming in doesn't mean you have positive cash flow. There's a lot of businesses that are operating at a loss, but they're cash flow positive. And then there's a lot of businesses that are bringing net profit in, but they're cash flow negative. So you got to make sure that you're bringing money in and you remain cash flow positive. And I'm going to talk to you guys about that tonight, and we're going to get into it now. All right, so invoicing and receivables, this is very important. All right, now there's different lanes I talk about with box trucks. You got your middle mile guys, you got your final mile guys. I also talk about moving because a lot of people are interested in moving. I own a moving company, so I'm knowledgeable in that, and you can also do that with a box truck. All right, so invoicing and receivables is very important when it comes to maintaining and keeping your cash flow positive, ensuring that invoices are sent out promptly and that payment terms are clearly communicated to customers, establishing a consistent invoicing and collections process, and follow up on overdue accounts to keep cash flow positive. All right, a lot of you middle mile guys, you guys do what's called factoring. The reason why you factor is because a lot of the accounts that you guys run, a lot of things that you do really pays out on a net 30, a net 60, a net 90. All right, but in order for you guys to be able to maintain and continue to run efficiently, you have to remain liquid. All right, so you factor, you sell your invoices at a percentage so that you can remain cash flow positive. All right, so that's for you guys. That's how middle mile remains cash flow positive, by factoring their invoices, because a lot of owner operators can't wait 30, can't wait 60, can't wait 90 days. All right, final mile guys. All right, it is important that you keep up with what you're doing on a day-to-day basis. All right, even though you're getting paid X amount per stop, depending on the scope of the stop, it's very important that you still keep some type of track record on what you're doing, especially if you're on the truck. If you are a guy that's running final mile trucks and you're not on the truck, you still need to keep up with what's going on your trucks, right? Because different scopes pay different things. For instance, say you're running Mattress Firm, right? And they pay you $85 a stop. If it's a curbside or threshold, it goes into the home room of choice. But if it's a white glove, it's going to pay $100, right? White glove is bringing the mattress in the home, taking the plastic off of it, setting it on the mattress or removing the old mattress, setting the new mattress on the frame. All right, you got to know what each stop is paying, and you got to keep a track record of that. All right, because what's going to happen is at the end or next week when you get settled, when you get your settlement, they're going to pay you, right? But most times, most logistics companies, they don't have an itemized breakdown of what you actually did all the time. Not every company is like this, but some companies, they don't give you an itemized breakdown of what you did in that settlement period. They just say $4,950. All right. But you might have done, they might have paid you for, let's say, 20 thresholds and 20 white gloves, and you did 40 stops, but you might have actually did 30 white gloves and 10 thresholds. All right, so you have to keep account of what you're actually doing. All right, because you need to be able to dispute that with accounting with that particular logistics company. All right, because that will disrupt your cash flow. All right, because guess what? What's going to happen, especially if you're not on the truck, the guys that you have running for you on the truck, believe it or not, they're keeping tabs on what they do. All right, I know this. I've had guys that keep a little pocket notebook and they write down. All right, and the worst thing that you want to happen is every pay period they're coming back and they're saying, "Hey, you know what? You paid me for 10 thresholds and 5 white gloves when I did it the other way around, or I did 10 and 10, or whatever the number is." And then now you have to go back and figure out and dispute that with accounting with SIVA or Cardinal or T-Force or whoever the logistics company is. And now you're digging into your pocket and it's interrupting your cash flow. All right. Just because let's make it like this. Let's make it simple. Let's make it simple for final mile guys. Let's say you're running on a dedicated route. It's $5,000 a week. All right. You got a dedicated route. It's $5,000 a week, right? All right. You run that week. You're not going to get paid that money until the next pay settlement, which is 7 days out, which is next Friday. So what you do this week, you get paid for it next week. So in your books for this week, that your net profit is $5,000. You can put plus $5,000 in your books for this week. Even though you haven't received that money, you're up $5,000. All right. But you're not fluid on that $5,000, right? You're not cash flow positive on that $5,000. Your cash flow positive on the previous $5,000 for the previous week. All right. So in order to maintain cash flow positive, you have to keep up with your books, because any small infraction like something like that, not keeping up with your invoices, not keeping up with your settlement on a per job basis can disrupt your cash flow. All right. For instance, let me tell you guys a story. I don't know if I told this story before. We were running Dynamics. This was years ago. This was 2013 maybe. Yeah, so I was running 5 to 9s for Dynamics. All right. And this is why cash flow is important. I was running 5 to 9s for Dynamics. All right. 3 trucks. All right. 5 to 9. All right. We were sending 2 to Schaumburg, 1 to Bolingbrook, all right? Or depending on wherever the volume was, sometimes it would fluctuate, sometimes it would switch, but most days it was 2 to Schaumburg, 1 to Bolingbrook, all right? 5 to 9s, all right? I had a guarantee of $500 per route per truck. So 3 trucks, 5 to 9s is a 7-day-a-week contract, right? All right, so that's $1,500 a day gross coming back to the company, all right? I'm paying the driver $100 per route. I'm paying the helper $75 per route. All right. So that's $175 per route. All right. Pay cycle goes 2 weeks, right? 2-week pay cycle. I didn't get paid. They did not pay me. All right. The guy, Eric Field was his name. I don't know what his issue was, but he didn't put my payment in. I invoiced the company. I was on a guarantee. I had to invoice them. All right. They brought my company in. I didn't go looking for this company. They brought me in to help save that account because they were on the verge of losing it. So it wasn't like I was an independent contractor, but I was a master contractor, right? So I invoiced them. I invoiced him in time. I sent him what he owed us. He didn't submit it. We didn't get paid. Guess what? My payroll for those 2 weeks was about $7,300. All right, because I'm paying $175 per route per truck times 3 7-day-a-week contract, $7,350. Right. So guess what? I had to float that. What is it? What's 175 times 3 is what? I think it was like 7,500. Hold on, let me see. 175 times 3. That's 525 times 14 days. 7,350. I had to float that 7,350. I had to pay those guys, right? But because I was liquid, I was cash flow positive because I always did what I was supposed to do with the money, and I didn't do goofball stuff with my money. I was able to pay those guys and keep them coming to work. Now, if I didn't pay those guys, then guess what? They wouldn't have came to work. But guess what? The following pay period, he did it to me again. So guess what? I had to come out another $7,350 for that following period. I had to contact Dynamics Corporate, which is down in Dallas, and I had to get up in their behind so that they can send me that money. I thought they were going to wire me the money, but they told me I had to wait to the next pay period. They sent me the money. It was almost $30,000, right? So I could recoup the money that I lost, but because I was fluid, because I had cash flow, because I had been doing what I was supposed to do. The previous weeks, previous years, I was able to pay these guys and keep the business running. What they wanted from me, and the purpose of me telling you this story, is my books. I had to have proof that we did what we did, because he wasn't turning the stuff in. We were master contractors and I was invoicing him. All right. Because my books were clean, right? And I was able to send this information to Dallas, which is why they released that check. All right. Which is why they released that check and they made sure we got paid. So you have to make sure that you are, your books are Trump tight. A way you want to make sure your books are Trump tight, I don't suggest going the old fashioned way of paper and pen. And I'm gonna tell you guys again, and I'm gonna actually show you a little later on. You want to get QuickBooks and you want to pay for that subscription. You could get the cheapest subscription. All right, the cheapest subscription to help you keep up with your books. And a lot of the stuff that I'm going to be talking about tonight, they have it's going to help. It's going to help you with that. All right. So as I get into it, and when I show you the QuickBooks stuff, you'll be able to see, okay, this is how I can do this, how I can do it. Only thing you got to do is input the information. It's going to do everything else for you. All right. So invoicing is very important because you're working on accounts receivables. All right. You're working on accounts receivables. Moving is different. All right. Moving, if you got a 26-foot box truck, hey, Mark, I got a 26-foot box truck. I want to do a moving company. Guess what? You do the move. That's account receivables, but that's account receivables that same day. Now, if you want to do something like, hey, give a person a net 30 on a move, then that's on you, or a net 7 on a move. Hey, that's on you. But same situation, same thing applies. You have to make sure that everything, as far as the negotiations, your paperwork, is Trump tight, that person is going to pay you in 7 days. And if they don't, you have to have a system in play. All right, you got to have a system in play that's automated. That's, man, it's 5 days left. You got a payment due in 5 days. Here, submit the payment here. They can put their credit card information in and it'll pay it. It's getting close. 3 days. It's sending that notice out automatically. 1 day, same day, hey, your payment is late. All right, so you got to have a system in play. QuickBooks has a system in play that it can accept credit cards if you're running a business like a moving company where you need something to automate your accounts receivable invoices. So make sure your paperwork is good for your accounts receivable, because if you're going out doing the work and the people who owe you money aren't paying you, you're steady spending money. You're steady spending money. You got to pay people. You got to fill up your trucks, and you need that cash flow for your business to sustain. So even though you're making the money, you're not cash flow positive until you get the money. All right. So that's how a business can be net profit up, but cash flow negative. You got businesses that are operating at a loss, but they're cash flow positive. But those types of businesses are businesses that have investors. All right, like tech companies, things of that nature. I gave an example the other day of Uber. Uber operated for many years in the negative, and they had $20 billion in the bank. Why? Because they had all these VCs and angel investors funneling money into them pre-IPO, because they knew once they IPO, it was going to be their payday. All right, so they were operating at a loss for years to build that business up. Why were they doing that? To get people accustomed to using that service. All right. This isn't that type of lane. All right. So that's how some companies can operate at a loss but be cash flow positive. And then small businesses like, this, you can have money coming in and be making money but be cash flow negative. All right. Budgeting and forecasting. Develop a detailed budget and cash flow forecast to identify areas where cash flow may be tight. Use this information to make informed decisions about spending and prioritizing investments. So a good example of this is this. A lot of people will see issues in their business, right? And they'll have the money, right? And then they'll spend the money, right? And it's probably not a good idea to spend all the money at that particular time. So basically what I'm telling you now is you got to prioritize things. You got to prioritize things. You may need a multitude of things done, but what you got to do is prioritize what needs to be done first. So for instance, let's say you're running on a net 7. All right, what the work you did last week, you're going to get paid for this week, and so on and so forth. Let's say you need a PM and you need 6 tires on your 26-foot truck, right? But let's say this week your truck went down It went down for 2 days. All right. So while it's there, they're saying, you know what, you do it for a PM and you need new tires. Do you want to do it while it's here? Now your truck is already down. Let's whatever it's down for. We're gonna not talk about that. I just want to make this example easy for you. It's down. All right. So now you know that if you're down 2 days this week, that's going to be 2 less days that you're going to get paid for next week. All right. Let's say the PM is $400, and let's say the tires are $1,300. All right. So that's $1,700. All right. All right. But you know, next week you're going to have 2 days that you're not going to get paid for. All right. You still need cash flow to continue. All right. For the following week. All right. So, all right, are the tires good? How long can I go on these tires? Is this something that's in dire need? No, we're just letting you know, since the truck is here, we can swap them out. But you probably got another 2 months on the tires. All right. Okay, cool. Do the PM, right? And we'll come back for the tires. Why? Okay, boom. We'll pay the $400 while it's there for the PM, because that's more important right now. All right. The powertrain is important. We got time on the tires. So that way we're keeping that $1,300 in the pot, because we're going to need that for next week. We're going to need that cash flow. All right. So we're going to take care of the PM now. All right. We're going to get the truck back. We're going to go into the following week, right? We know in that following week, we're going to get paid less because we missed 2 days this week because the truck was in the shop, right? Then the following week, since we're going to work a full 5 or 6 days, whatever your contract is, the following week, that following week after that, we'll come back and get those tires. All right. Because now we're getting a full check. And this is how you keep your cash flow steady. All right. You got to prioritize what's more important. You don't want to just because the truck is there. Yeah. Okay. It's convenience thing. Yeah. The truck is there. But hey, you know what? We're working on a small profit margin business, and we need cash flow because we don't know what's going to happen down the line. So even this 1,300, it's here, but you know what? Let's carry this 1,300 over to next week, and then let's work a full week, and then the following week we'll revisit this and spend that 1,300. All right, so just prioritizing, certain occurrences. You don't have to necessarily do everything at one time. If you don't have like an abundance of cash flow. All right, let's go to the next one. All right, expense management. Monitor expenses closely and take steps to reduce unnecessary spending. Consider negotiating better deals with logistics companies. That's something I want to talk about, cutting back on discretionary expenses and optimizing routes to reduce fuel costs. All right, so I'm pretty sure you guys know how to, optimize your routes, all right, to be efficient with that. So I'm not going to dive into that. Consider negotiating better deals with logistics companies. Now, here's something that I'm coming to find that a lot of people don't know they can do. If you're running a dedicated account and you've been running this dedicated account for a while and you've been good with this account, you're there, you do what you're supposed to do. When things change in the market, you can approach these logistics companies and negotiate rates. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people don't know it. You know what I'm saying? And it doesn't necessarily mean they're going to play ball with you, but sometimes they will, especially if the company is in dire need. If you're running for a company and the turnover rate is high, retention is bad, and you're doing what you're supposed to do, and you know that they value you, and you're going in there and you're asking for something fair, it's a great possibility that they may give it to you. All right. Same thing with the middle mile. Middle mile guys negotiate rates with brokers all the time. You just don't have to take what's thrown at you. Final mile is a little bit different. Going in the door, going through the onboarding process, they're going to tell you what the payment is. And, you may have some type of leverage, to negotiate. But if you've been there a while and you went in and you accepted what they paid you, and you're running good for them, you're the guy who, you know what, we got 2 loads left on the dock. Do you mind taking an extra stop or two? And you take that extra stop or two and you do that for a period of time. And you have a great relationships with the operations manager there. You have a great relationship with the dispatching team there. And, hey, guys, fuel is going up. Payroll is going up. Cost of living is going up. I've been running at this for about 6 months. I helped you guys out a lot, man. I know I'm on a $5,000 a week contract. You guys think you can make that $5,200 for the week? Mark, what we'll think about. Let me talk to ops. Let me talk to accounting, and we'll get back to you. It's a possibility they may give it to you. All right. They may give it to you. All right. So now that's increasing your money, which is also increasing your cash flow. All right. So negotiating better deals with logistics companies, negotiating better deals with brokers, cutting back on the discretionary expenses. A lot of people that are running over the road, every time you stop at Love's or a Travel Plaza, you go in, you just got to buy something. You just can't go in and take your pee or your number two and walk back out to the truck and pump the gas. You got to buy something in there. All right. So, discretionary spending. All right. Try to spend less. Also, as an owner operator, you have to know how to pay yourself. I talked about this last week. All right. At the beginning may not be the time to pay yourself handsomely. All right. When you're starting your business, paying yourself handsomely at the beginning is not recommended. All right. You want to pay yourself something fair. I said last week, rule of thumb, a third. All right. And then make sure the business has cash flow. I'm going to reiterate this from last week. A lot of people will go, they'll run, let's say they make 5,000. All their expenses, let's say, total up to 3,500, and then they got $1,500 left, and they think that's what they personally made from running that week. I don't care if they're running final mount. I don't care if they're running middle mount. All right, it cost them 3,500. Let's say that's fuel, tolls, whatever, hotels, showers, whatever. 3,500. We're just making the math. All right, so they 1,500, and they think that's what they made. That's not what you made. That's not what you made. You still got to pay Uncle Sam. You still got to pay yourself. All right. So from that 1,500 that's left, rule of thumb, you pay yourself a third of that. All right. A third of that. So that would be 500, let's say. So now that leaves you with 1,000. All right. I say put 33% of that 1,000 away. So now that's $333. All right. So now your business is cash flow positive $777. That's going to carry you over to the next week, and you're going to add that to the pot from what you had over the previous week. And that's going to get you through, and you want to keep building your cash flow like that. So negotiating better deals with brokers, logistics companies, cutting back on discretionary spending. You don't have to, try not to spend unnecessary money. All right. Try to save as much money and keep as much money in the pot as possible. And that also goes, because you are an owner operator, also goes in your personal lifestyle as well. It takes time to build up enough cash flow in your business to the point where you can start paying yourself handsomely, and then you can start, treating yourself. Well, obviously, by paying yourself more handsomely, you can start treating yourself more in your personal life. But you got to make those sacrifices first at the beginning. All right, working capital management. Now, here's something that a lot of people ask me about as well. All right, ensure that there's adequate working capital to support the business, even during periods of slow cash flow. Consider using short-term financing options, such as lines of credit, factoring to manage cash flow fluctuations. All right. Every business is going to go through hard times. All right. Every business is going to go through hard times. That's why when things are going good, you have to manage your cash flow very, very well. When that company didn't pay me for those 2 weeks, because I managed my money very, very well, I had the money to pay these guys to keep the ball rolling. If that first pay period that they didn't pay me, if I didn't have that money, they wouldn't have came to work. I got other accounts running too. All right. So I had to keep the ball rolling. My problem as the business owner is not my employee's problem. It's not. All right. And this is why you have to be cash flow positive. At that time, I didn't have outside sources of working capital. I just had a lot of cash flow. All right. Why? Because I paid myself very minimal. Why? Because I still lived at home. Right. I didn't have a big car note. I didn't even have a car note at all at the time. Right. Because I was investing everything that was coming in, I was putting it back into the business. All right. Luckily for me, I started at a younger age. I didn't have kids or family, and everybody's situations are going to be different. And I still lived at the crib. So everything that came in, I was able to put it right back out. All right. And this is why I had so much money. All right. Now everybody's situation is going to be different. So if you are not in that particular situation where you have more personal responsibilities, you're going to probably have to get some type of working capital to set on the side in case of incidences. You may have adequate amount of cash flow, but you don't know what situations will occur later on down the line, and you don't want to necessarily disrupt or drain all your cash flow. What I recommend, I don't recommend business loans. All right. If your business is is under 2 years old, you're not going to be able to go get a business loan anyway. And the business loan that you will be able to get under 2 years is going to be a hard money loan. Most likely a daily debit loan, and you don't want to do that. All right. What I recommend, and this is going to be hard money too, is a business line of credit. And here's why. Once you go through the process of applying for a business line of credit and you get approved for it, that money is just sitting there. All right. Until you withdraw that money or some of that money, you're not paying any interest on it. It's sitting there just in case. So, God forbid an emergency happens, and you need capital, you need working capital to infuse into your business so that you can go do whatever it is you need to do to keep the business going, right? You don't have to go apply for a loan and go through that process because that takes time. It may be an emergency thing. So this business line of credit is sitting there. All right. So boom, something happens. You need some emerging cash. You log into whatever company you got your line of credit through. And man, you say you get approved for 10,000, you got 10,000 sitting there, but you only need 2,500. You automatically withdraw that 2,500. It should be in your account the next day. All right. Nowadays, you can automatically withdraw it, and for 1% or 2% or 3%, you can push it through right away. All right. And then you're going to pay back interest on the money that you withdrew from that line of credit. All right. So if you pull out 1,500, you still got 8,500 over there, but you're only paying interest on the 1,500. And as you pay that money back, it's going to increase your line of credit. It's going to just increase it back. You pay 500 back, that 85 is going to go back to 9. You still owe 1,000, but now you got 9 still that you can still pull from. So recurring line of credit. This is what I recommend for business owners to have just in case of emergency. Don't use that money. And here's how people get into trouble. Because they get approved for it and it's there, they touch it. You get to doing stuff that you don't necessarily need to be doing. Because if you didn't have the money, you wouldn't be doing this stuff. You see what I'm saying? People, oh, well, man, oh, shoot. Man, let me go get a new E-Track for the truck. Ain't nothing wrong with the E-Track in the back of the truck now. Well, you know what? This radio, I'm going to get me a new TV radio. What do you need a TV radio for? You know, you just buying stuff. I'm going to get some new seat covers and all this. Don't, like, if the money is there, leave that money there for a case of emergency. You don't know what's going to happen. Big issue people get. They get a line of credit, they get a loan, they get to buy stuff that they wouldn't have bought anyway if they didn't have the money. All right. The purpose of the working capital business line of credit is for in case of emergency. All right. You may have something that come up that may drain your working capital. You need working capital to keep the business afloat. All right. In order for the business to keep going, to sustain, you got to have cash flow. Cash flow is very important in a business. Cash flow is more important than a business than the net profit. All right. Because like I said, you can work and have and earn that money, right? But until they pay you, it's not doing no good. You need that cash flow to continue to keep that business going, to sustain. All right. So, you know, make sure, you know what I'm saying? And I'm telling you, I don't recommend getting business loans. All right. Especially if you're under your 2 years. All right. I don't recommend getting business loans if you're over 2 years because business loans get people into trouble. Get a business line of credit. Have that money sitting there in case of emergency. And if something happens, God forbid, hopefully you never have to touch it. That money is sitting there for you to draw down on. All right. All right. All right. Debt management. All right. Minimizing debt and avoid taking any more debt than necessary. Similar to what I'm talking about. All right. With the loans. Consider using debt financing only when it is needed to support growth and focus on paying off debt as soon as possible. That's why I say don't get a loan. All right. Because a lot of people get loans and they misappropriate that money. All right. Get a business line of credit. All right. Don't take on more debt than you can handle. All right. Growing. All right. Let's say growing. If you want to grow, right? If you want to grow or if you're in the position to grow, then taking on that debt is fine, right? Like, okay, you go out, you buy another truck. You got somebody that said, hey, your son or let's say your brother, man, I'm going to work. I'm not going to leave you hanging even when the times get tough, brother. I'm going to still be in that truck. If you get another truck, I'm going to run that truck. And you go out and you invest in another truck, all right? And you take out a finance loan, not like a traditional bank loan, but a finance loan. You finance that second truck. That's fine. You're taking on additional debt, right? But it's to grow the business. All right, it's to grow the business. But what you want to do is you want to aggressively pay that loan off. If you were following my channel a few months ago, maybe about 4 or 5 months ago, when rates were really, really, really spiking for box truck rentals, I said, you know what? If I were getting into the space at this time, I would take a high interest loan on a box truck before I rented a truck. All right, because if I'm gonna spend $2,000 right a week and spend $8,000 a month renting a truck, which what they were renting them for at that particular time, I might as well just take a high interest loan on a box truck and aggressively pay it off. But at least I'll own it, right? If I'm gonna spend $2,000 a week, $8,000 a month, right, for on 12 months, because I know I'm gonna be in this business, right? I'm spending $8,000 a month. In 10 months, that's 80 grand. I done bought the damn truck, right? So I'd rather go out and put put a 20%, 25% on me on this $50,000 truck and aggressively pay that off. And at least I'll own it. All right. So even in a fair situation, you want to make sure you aggressively pay off any debt. So if you incur any debt, you make sure you want to take care of your business, aggressively pay it off so that, you know, you can start seeing some more of your money. Only get into debt when it's about growing. You know, some people I see, they want to take out business loans for the wrong reasons. And I'm going to be honest with you. Some people may disagree. I've seen a lot of people get into trouble and lose their business because they took out business loans when they didn't need them. All right. Or they took out business loans when they got into a situation that they felt, well, they didn't have the cash flow. They took out a business loan and they still couldn't turn the business around. All right. So this is why cash flow is very important. This is why managing cash flow is very important. So you don't get into these dire need situations where you make these desperate decisions, because most of the time when you make these desperate decisions, it doesn't turn things around. All right. So minimize your debt as possible. Only get into further debt when you're looking to grow your business. If you're not looking to grow your business, don't take on any unnecessary debt. The more money the business is banking, the better it is for you. All right, so that's it. What I want to do now, let me show you guys this uh, this QuickBooks thing real quick. I want to show you that really fast. All right, so this is QuickBooks, and here is their plans. And if you look at this $15 plan, everything that I talked about, it has it. All right. So income and expenses, so this is like if you, like to say you run a moving company, you can accept credit cards and bank transfers directly into QuickBooks and get status updates. And it's going to automatically send reminders if you need to invoice people. If you do need to invoice people, they have that tax deductions. All right. You can, as you're inputting information as far as accounts payable, accounts receivable, it's itemizing all this stuff for you come tax time. So when tax time comes, if you hire a CPA, a preparer, only thing you got to do is export everything, and it'll already be itemized for them to make their job easier, and it'll make your life easier as well. General reports. It's important as a business owner that you run reports every week, all right, to see how your business is doing. All right, so profit and loss. I've talked before about a P&L statement. I haven't gone into details about P&L statements yet because I'm walking you through paying yourself. This week we're talking about cash flow, and then probably in a few weeks we'll talk about P&L. But P&L is very important. I know a lot of guys that I talk to in training don't tell me about P&L. All right, you don't run these type of reports. You need to run these type of reports. All right, expenses, balance sheets, all of that stuff. All right. Receipt capture. Here's another important thing that they have. When you are purchasing things for your business, let's say you're going to the gas station, you're getting gas, you need to input that into your QuickBooks. And it also offers a feature where you can snap a picture of the receipt, right? And then you can itemize it. All right. So when you look at your quarterly or you look at your yearly expenses, everything will be itemized. You know how much you spent in fuel. You know how much you spent in miscellaneous. You know how much you spent in accounting. All right. And then even with this subscription, this is a write-off. This is a write-off under accounting. All right, so you can write this off. Mileage tracking, here, what we talked about tonight, cash flow. Get paid online or in person, deposit instantly if eligible. Forecast cash flow. Forecasting your cash flow. I talked about forecasting your cash flow. All right. This you need all of this information, guys. You need all of this information, and that's why I say you should have something like this. It's only $15 a month. So to me, this will help you out. Instead of doing it the old-fashioned way of writing this stuff down, like I know some of you guys still do. And the issue with writing it down is what happens when you write it down is eventually you stop writing it down. And it happens. I know it happens. You know what I'm saying? I remember when I was writing stuff down, when I first got started, I had a notebook and I would write things down, and eventually I stopped writing things down. You know what I'm saying? This way you can download the QuickBooks app. It's in your phone, and anytime you spend that, if you go into the gas station at the Travel Plaza to buy you some gloves to pump fuel, you misplaced your glove. Let's say last time you pumped gloves, because this happens all the time. You pump gloves the last time, you left them on the pump. You forgot to put them back in the truck. So now you got to go in, you buy some gloves. When you buy those gloves, you just input it right away. You take a picture while the gas is pumping, man. You doing your books right then and there. Don't wait till later, because then that's how you're going to forget. You're going to get lazy. You're not going to do it. So put that information in right away. I'm writing everything off, maybe even my time spent on learning, watching you. You can't write me off because I'm free. You can't write me off because I'm free. What up, Mark? I'm just chiming in. Happy Sunday from you, fellow Chicago brother, low and knowing. What's going on, Andre? Naples for snacks. Make sure your stuff is tight and go in there and ask for more. Get to know your market managers. Are you talking about the final mile? Yeah, you got to know your market managers. When you're running final mile, you can definitely ask for more money. But I wouldn't suggest asking for more money if you haven't, if you're not in their good graces. If you've been doing what you're supposed to do, then you can go in there and ask for some more money. But a lot of people, the reason why a lot of these companies are struggling is because a lot of independent owner operators are just fair weather now. It's a fair weather business. I believe this industry now with this box truck thing, I believe this has become a business that I believe it's an unscalable business right now. I believe this is a business where you can jump in with you and your one box truck and run it like that, and you can see success. The moment people start to try to scale in this industry right now, it's like a recipe for disaster. You know what I'm saying? For many reasons, I've talked about it before. I think this has become a business where you and your box truck, you run it, you'll see success. The moment people try to scale up and entrust their business into other people, now it's just not good. Hey, y'all be thinking I'm a rapper. Okay, I read that. All right, so man, that's pretty much the presentation. I hope everybody or somebody or one or two people got some type of value from that. I just want to make sure I covered everything. I thought I minimized that. All right, I thought I put forecasting. Yeah, I got it. All right, so that's everything. All right, so so that's the presentation. I'll take Q&A right now, and then I'm gonna get up out of here. If you are just starting up, I know you're supposed to keep personal and business separate, but if you need the business to pay personal bills and only making so much, how do you manage? All right, so if you're just starting up and you're licensed, you're running, you're not under the table, you're running a licensed business, you're legal. All right, you're gonna go through the growing pains of the business. All right, you can't rob the business, and I'm gonna be completely honest with you. The business is a greedy, selfish son of a bitch. All right, that's how you have to look at your business. The business don't care about nothing. The business don't care about your personal bills. The business don't care that you got a hole in the bottom of your shoe. The business don't care about none of that. The business just wants to make money. That's it. All right. And in order for the business to stay happy, you got to keep the business fed. which is basically what I'm talking about tonight, cash flow. All right. You can't rob from the sustainability of the business. All right. If, because without the business, all right, there is no money to pay you to take care of whatever little personal things you got to do. So I don't know what these personal things may be, but a lot of sacrifices have to be made. All right. A lot of sacrifices have to be made at the beginning. All right. If the business is not making enough money to take care of your personal life, then that means, and I'm being a complete honest, you have to go out and get a job. You gotta have to get some type of supplemental income to come in to kind of float your personal life or your personal lifestyles into that business, and can sustain itself and sustain your personal well-being as well. And that's just what it is. That's why when I said earlier, when I was first starting, when I ran into that situation, my situation is going to differ from a lot of people's situations. I didn't have the responsibilities that most people probably have when they're starting a business. So you're going to have to do something to supplement your income so that you can maintain your personal lifestyle, as far as like your rent, your car note, food, and things of that nature, because the business needs money. If you find yourself in a situation where you're taking too much money away from the business to take care of your personal life, then you got to stop, reevaluate the whole thing, and make some type of decision. And 9 times out of 10, a great business person is just going to have to go pick something up, all right, to kind of supplement that income. I wouldn't give up. I just had to pick something up, so, and that's just what it is. With IKEA, would you take a rental because I have one Sprinter but 2 drivers? With IKEA, a Sprinter ain't gonna work. You're gonna need a 26-foot box truck. You're gonna need a 26-foot box truck for IKEA. Nothing wrong with working a job while growing your business. Yeah, so if you gotta work a job while growing your business. I'm working on 2 projects right now. One of them is a tech project. It's a lot of money. I don't have any VCs yet. All right, this is something that I'm going to need VCs for, but I have one partner and we're funding everything ourselves. All right. If I got to go out and do something else to get more money, then that's what I'm going to do. Right now, I don't have to. All right. I got enough money coming in from all my investments to kind of fund this project, but I know eventually I'm going to get to a point where we're going to need some real serious funding in order to make this thing really, really work. All right. And whatever I got to do to make it happen is what I'm going to do. All right. If you're starting a business, right, initially, and this is your main source of revenue, you don't have multiple streams, you're in your early stages of entrepreneurship, you may have to have another stream of revenue. It's just what it is. Times are changing as times, as time goes on, the cost of living gets higher. Things are higher, man. Everybody's talking about these Beyonce tickets now, $1,000 for the nosebleed. Look, I remember going to concerts back in the day, right? For top tier artists. When I was in high school in my 20s, tickets were $20, $30. But now to see a top tier artist is $1,000. Lil Wayne is going on tour. I heard his nosebleeds, and he not even selling out arenas. His nosebleeds starting at $200, $300. All right, so as time goes on, the cost of living goes on. People get paid more money. The cost of living goes up. Things get higher. All right, so starting a business now is a lot different than starting a business just 10 years ago. Even 30, 40 years ago, a husband could go to work, right, and have be a husband, a wife, and 4 kids at home, and the husband's income would be enough for that whole family. The wife can stay home and raise the kids, and the husband's income would take care of the whole family. All right. Cost of living was very minimal. Even though wages were a lot lower back then, the cost of living was very low. Loaf of bread was probably 10 cents. A payphone was a penny, a nickel. A carton of eggs was a 25 cent, a dime, whatever. Times have changed. Nowadays, in most cases, it takes 2 incomes, to come into a household to really have a comfortable household. So times are changing. So starting a business now is a lot difficult than it was before, in years past. So if you have to pick up another job to maintain that business, is what you got to do. If you had to loan the business money, how do you pay yourself back? All right. So if you loaning your business money, if you personally loan your business money, you just loan the business money. All right. You keep account of what you loan to the business, and when the business recoups that money and can afford to pay you back on that personal loan, you just pay that loan back. It's just a loan. It's a no interest loan. It's just as simple as that. But just make sure you keep account of that, because you don't want to you don't want it to look like you're doing some fishy stuff like embezzlement and all that stuff. So just make sure you keep account of it, right? And that's fine. You just loaning the business money. The money that you loan the business, you talk to your CPA, you can write that off on that upcoming taxes. So basically, if you loan the business money, the business hasn't paid you off yet. When that tax time comes around for that particular year, then that's something on the personal side that you say this is an investment on the personal side, for that your personal taxes for the business, and you can talk to your CPA and write that off. And then when the business pays it back, let's say it pays it back the following year, then that'll just be a loan payback, on the personal side that the business pays you back. So it's like a no interest loan, but you may be able to reap some type of tax write off. You can reap a tax write off on the personal side, come tax time. I'm not going anywhere that is called nosebleed, not even for free. I hear you. That was my next question. Okay, well, I don't know what the next question was, but I guess I answered it for you, right? All right, so any questions about cash flow? The presentation I put on about cash flow? Does everybody understand the difference between cash flow and profit? Do you guys understand why cash flow is important? Do you understand that's why a lot of people go out of business? Okay, about taxes. Okay, what was the question? Did I answer the question about taxes or not? Mm, mm. Interstate screw. Did I answer that question about taxes, or I didn't answer it? Oh yeah, I answered it. All right, bet. I'm glad I was able to answer it for you. All right, so yeah. Anybody have any questions about cash flow? I'll answer any questions, but I want to make sure you guys understand the cash flow thing, because a lot of people don't understand that. Cash flow is very important. It's more important than your net profit. All right, your accounts receivables is very, 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 very important. You need cash flow for your business to sustain. All right. What is a nosebleed? A nosebleed is when you go to a concert or a game and you way, way up in the top somewhere and you damn near need binoculars to see what's going on. But I heard that's what Beyonce charged for her nosebleed. So, I just use that as an example of, costs, things go up, so it is what it is. It is what it is. So, yeah. But Rich Red Nose Pit, I hope I was able to answer this question for you. I answered it for you honestly, and hopefully you got some value from the answer that I gave you. Um, it may take you a while for the business to be able to pay your personal bills. So you're going to have to supplement some type of way. I learned something about cash flow that has helped in my current situation. Thanks for the info. Glad I was able to bring some type of value to you, interstate screw. All right, any other questions about cash flow? Any other questions about anything pertaining to box trucks or cargo vans? No, P&L is profit and loss. Profit and loss in a particular period. How much the business profited or how much the business lost. P&L sheet. If you ever go to seek a real, like, let's say you go look for a bank loan, not like a hard money loan, something you would get like from a hard money lender. They don't really ask for that. A hard money lender usually loans you money, and what they use for collateral is your future receivables. All right, so a hard money lender will loan you money based on your future receivables. That's what you're using for collateral. Now, when you go to a bank, right? Let's say a traditional bank, Chase or Bank of America, you want to acquire a business loan there. They're going to want a bunch of stuff, right? And one of the things that they're going to ask for is a P&L sheet, because they want to see what your P&L looks like, profit and loss. All right, how much you profited or how much you lost. Are you profiting or are you losing? So that's a very instrumental um, you know, you got to keep up with your P&L, to know how your business is doing. It has nothing to do with uh, sustain your business. Cash flow is what you need in order for your business to sustain. Cash flow, because here's the thing: if you're running a business and you giving a customer 90 days to pay, you know what a great example of cash flow on and accounts receivable on a long-term thing. A lot of people ask me questions about these government contracts, and I know I said that before, and I know I did that video on government contract, and I gave the information out, and I didn't really go into detail of what a government contract, to operate and to land a government contract in most situations actually, um, what it actually entails. Um, Most government contracts, they pay you quarterly. All right, so they're gonna pay you 4 times a year, once every quarter. It's not something they're gonna pay you weekly, monthly. They're gonna pay you once a quarter, right? So that's pretty much 120 days, 90 days in a quarter, right? And then after that 90-day period is over, it's about 30 days for accounting, and then they'll submit a payment, right? So January 1st through March 30th in quarter one, April 1st through April 30th, right? We'll go through accounting, and you'll see money that you'll finally get paid for the work you did in January through March, sometime in May. All right. So that's a net 90, but it really takes about 120 days. All right. So in order for you to run that account for the government, let's say for those 4 to 5 months until you get paid, you gotta have cash flow. All right. You have to have cash flow. All right. So whatever you need to do to get cash flow to be able to float you until this big contract pays you is what you got to do. All right. Because if you don't have enough cash flow, you're not going to be able to even handle that contract and go through the whole 90 days to even to the point where you can get paid. You're going to tap out. All right. Because they're not going to pay you. They're going to pay you once a quarter. Government, when you get a city contract, a state contract, they dealing with a bunch of people. They ain't got time to be worrying about cutting you a check every month. Account don't work like that when you're dealing with the big boys. It don't work like that. They pay you once at the end of the quarter, and that's it. So that's why cash flow is important. Managing cash flow is very important. So that's why I tell people when they ask me about certain contracts they going out for, I'll be like, man, do you have the infrastructure to handle this contract? Do you got enough cash flow to float you? All right, because now you net 90. Mark, what's a net 90? That means, man, you got to work. They're not going to pay you for 90 days. So you're going to work for a month, and it's really going to be 120 days. You got enough money to float yourself and pay your guys and pay for fuel and all that stuff, so. Yeah, so cash flow determines your sustainability of the business. You need to make sure you have cash flow. Your business has to stay cash flow positive. The moment your business becomes cash flow negative, you in trouble. You in trouble. All right, you in trouble. That business has to remain cash flow positive. That's why it's very important that you stay on your invoices. All right, make sure that these companies are paying you your money. That money has to come in. If you're running middle mile, then you're factoring. That's how middle mile guys stay cash flow positive, because they can't wait. So they factor. They're willing to sell their invoices for 3%, right? They get that money. The factoring company waits on that money, all right, from the company, all right? That's how middle mile guys stay cash flow positive. Now, how they manage that cash flow, all right, once they sell off their invoices, that's on them, but that's how they stay cash flow positive. Final mile, you got to stay cash flow positive by, making sure those invoices are right, making sure those account receivables are paid on time, and not misappropriating that money once it hits that account. I added my dog to payroll. You probably gonna go to jail. Any recommendation for a CPA? I haven't filed last year. I haven't filed last year. Yeah, just DM me. I'll give you my account here. He expensive though. I'm just letting you know. But you're here, so I got an account down in Orland Park. I'll give you that information. Just DM me. He not cheap. So, does any type of technology make you nervous? No technology makes me nervous. I embrace technology more so now than ever before. I know where things are headed, so the best way to jump ahead of technology is just to invest in it. All right, and that's what I've been aggressively doing. That's why I did that pop-up live Friday night, talking about investment opportunities as far as the trucking space, with AI and things of that nature. No, technology it doesn't scare me at all. I think it should scare the people who don't have a long-term plan or even a short-term plan. I see people in comments that, think Amazon Relay, for instance, is just going to always be here. And no matter how much you tell them, no matter how many trucks these people pull in, no matter how much they see other people in the comments, like, damn, Mark, the more trucks they pull in, the less loads on the load board. People just get stuck in their ways. You know what I'm saying? I believe artificial intelligence is going to change the brokering field as far as brokers. I believe there's, the brokers, the big brokerage firms now that haven't invested in digital load boards, AI, are going to eventually have to, or they're already adopting that and they're having it built out right now as we speak. They're going to have to. All right. I believe semi-autonomous trucks are going to come in. Fully autonomous is still a ways away, but no, it don't scare me. I'm investing. I'm an early adopter. So when these things hit and people get to complaining about their jobs and stuff like that, I'm gonna be cashing out. So, you got to learn how to play the game. I know how to play the game. I've learned how to play the game over the years. You want to get in and get the money while the money is good, and get out. Nothing stays the same forever. Nothing. No business. All right. Things evolve. Technology comes in, and you got to get it while it's good. You have to recognize your run. Everybody has a run in business. All right. If you become a successful business owner and you do everything that you're supposed to do, eventually you're going to have your takeoff phase. Now, it's two people that had a takeoff phase. It's the person who realized they're having their takeoff phase, or let's say their run, right? And they recognize it, and then they start taking that money and setting themselves up for their next play. They don't misappropriate. And then you got the other business owner that is having their run, that doesn't recognize their run, right? And then they're taking that money and doing goofy stuff with it. And then when the landscape of the industry shifts, right, and that type of money not coming in no more, and they look back about all the money they made when the going was good, they don't have nothing to show for it. And not only do they don't have nothing to show for it, they have nothing left for them to transition. So yeah, technology, it doesn't scare me because I'm prepared for it. I'm investing in it. I'm investing in it. I want it to come in because I'm an early adopter. I'm getting in early. I'm aggressively putting my money into it so that when it goes through its bubble phase, like every new technology does, and rates run up, that's when I'm going to start exiting out of my positions and moving my money into something else. It's like I said the other day on that live from Friday night, the money ain't doing no good in the bank. Don't do no good in the bank. You look at your money, each dollar is a soldier. You send it out there to recruit more soldiers and bring it back. And when they bring back them new soldiers, you send them right back out there. All right. And that's how I look at technology. As I look at it as a money-making opportunity. I look at it as a money making opportunity. Yeah, so I don't look at it as a bad thing, guys. Let me put that up real quick. Uh, this box truck space done changed a lot, as y'all can see in the past 2-3 months. It's not that popular no more, right? Now look how many people that were in it when it was popular and those rates were really, really high. None of those people are here no more. Prime example of what I'm talking about. People didn't understand. Look, I got into a business in the midst of a run because they didn't understand business, right? And they misappropriated all that money. So when things changed, they couldn't even sustain. But they were making, man, those rates were ridiculous. It is what it is. It is what it is. What kind of technology can small business users adopt that big business refused to? What kind of technology can small business users adopt that big businesses refuse to? Hold on, Axel. I want to answer this question. I'm going to put you in the green room. This is a good question. It's a really good question. Actually, what's Chat GPT? Chat GPT is artificial intelligence. So artificial intelligence is probably one of the best pieces of technology that's probably come out in the past 10 years. I'm very impressed with ChatGPT. Um, it's basically a cheat code for everything, to be honest with you. So if misused, it can also be very dangerous. But if utilized the right way, it can be very helpful. Um, but yeah, it's the probably the best piece of technology that I've seen in the past 10 years. What kind of technology can small business users adopt that business uh, refuse to? I don't know. That's a good question. I gotta come back to that one for you. I gotta come back to that question. That's something that I can't answer right off the top of my head. I gotta think about it. But yeah, so Chat GPT is just a artificial intelligence technology that's come out recently. If you guys have gotten a chance to look at it, then go ahead. I was one of the people that got in early, so I'm in there. I heard that it's they're not really letting people in there no more, but I got in and it's great technology. Yo,
Do you hear me, Mark?
I hear you.
All right, everybody can see. Let me show you something. Can you see the gas sign
I see it, but I don't
from
see the
here?
price.
This is for you cargo vans and box truck guys.
What are you trying to show?
You see it now?
No,
For real?
it's blurry. I see the sign, but I don't see the price. But I don't got my glasses on either, so maybe they can see it, but I can't see it. What are you trying to show, Axel?
All right, it's 318 here. You guys all need to learn the gas prices are different everywhere. I stopped at one truck stop before, 5 miles before here, and it was 23 cents cheaper. That's number one. Number two, we're going to go over here to this van because everybody wants to run like bandits. I don't know if you ever seen this company or know this company. Mark Thompson Emergency Services.
No.
Okay, they're a quiet expediter. 30 years in business. You see the whole truck is logoed up?
Yeah.
Name, USDOT. I don't want to go all up on the guy's van, you know.
Okay.
Now we're going to go over here. That's why these guys get higher rates, because they operate normal. Now I'm going to show you the schmucks of the industry.
Excuse me.
And these are the guys that complain. These are the guys that use dispatchers, and they wonder why they can't get the right rates. This right here is enemy number one. You see it?
That yellow 16-foot box truck?
Enemy number one.
Okay, what's wrong
Because
with him?
they all drive overweight. They don't have no logos. They use dispatch companies, and they'll have 3 or 4 companies operating together, and they'll shuffle freight around. They'll steal sprinter loads as well.
You better get up off their truck, man, before they.
I don't worry about these guys. Here's a transit with no logos. That's the guy who'll do 70 cents. These guys are all going to be waiting for loads in the morning.
Where are you at, man?
Tennessee. I'm in the country town. Don't worry.
You in Tennessee Friday night, right?
Yeah.
So you still at the same truck stop?
No, I'm at a different one.
Oh man.
I got a pre-booked load. It picks up tonight. 5 in the morning, actually.
I'm like, damn, dude, you been staying at the same truck stop in a van?
Yeah.
You got like a little pallet mattress in the back of the van?
Yeah, we set everything up in our vans, heaters and everything. Here's Panther. Everyone wants to talk about Panther. I partner carry with Panther. I will get higher rates than their drivers. If they're around, if Panther has a load, if they don't have one of their cheap drivers to take it, usually you can get it. You can partner carry with them. If they don't have a driver around, then they got to deal with you. But all I'm saying is, you guys got to learn who's out on the road too. There's a guy today, he's an expediter. This kid was out on the road for 18 weeks, saving all his pennies. He helped a guy 5 months ago to get in with his company, which isn't the best because he ran the kid around for cheap freight. Some of you might have seen his video today. The guy was an engineer, and he went back to, I don't know, being an engineer or something. The guy liked him so much for helping him get into the expedite business, he gave him his van. And the kid had like a mental breakdown crying. He's going to be an owner-operator. First thing he says is, I gotta start signing up with these guys. I gotta get a hold of Millhouse. You do not want to deal with these companies. You go sign up with Millhouse, they're gonna offer you 60, 70 cents a mile. You gotta learn the companies who you're gonna sign up with. Whether you're gonna run directly underneath them or who you're gonna partner carry with. There's good guys and there's bad guys.
Okay.
This load I got, it's a little local load. It's 20 miles from me. I'm gonna grab it from the airport. I'm gonna run it 45 miles. It's a 40-pound box. They posted it on the board this afternoon, $200. I said, send it over. That's my deadhead money, my lunch money, till I get my regular load when Monday morning starts. So he sends it over. I didn't even say, I know the broker. I say, listen, over here, send me that load. No problem, it's yours. He sends me to Raycon. He threw in another 50 bucks because he knows me. When they know you and you treat them good and you do the job the right way, they know you're running your van the right way. They know you got the right insurance. They know you're putting your logo, your MC, your DOT. They're going to take care of you. You got to build the relationship and the connections. But if you run like these guys, you'll be like a dog on the street.
All right. Well, you can't be walking up on their vans. You know,
I walk up on all these guys. A lot of these guys know me.
I'm a
I'm the
long way
biggest.
from Tennessee. I won't be able to get to you in time to save you. So
I'm the biggest wolf out here. I'll talk about all these guys.
I hear you, man. But you know,
You got to.
be careful, man.
No, nothing. Be careful.
Hey, you're breaking up, and it's I don't know, it's freezing alive. So
I think
I don't
that's
know
your
if it's because
internet.
it's not my internet. I had QB on the other day, and it was perfectly fine. I
Yeah?
think yeah. It's your internet. Every time it's you. It's something with with your phone or something.
Maybe because I'm in these beautiful mountains.
I think that's what it is. Because when QB was on the other night, it was fine. So, but yeah, it's freezing it though, Axel. But I
Huh.
think everybody got the gist. So
That's what I'm saying. Just learn who's out here and learn the companies. That's part of the game too, to learn the companies. At least in Expedite, just like you want to learn the shippers. I'm working with a guy right now. We're getting ready to start a brokerage, and we don't want. No, we're going for contracts. We're not going for bidding on freight, because that's the other problem that's happening. A lot of these brokers are bidding on freight. They're bidding it. They're fighting against each other, bidding the loads down,
mm-hmm.
and then we're fighting each other, bidding the loads down even farther.
Hey, when are you going home, Axel?
Probably not for 2 or 3 weeks. I just came out.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I just brought
Man,
that load up down.
you got to get somewhere where the internet is straight, man.
Man, I don't know. It looks good on my side. I see you good.
Yeah, it's freezing though. When you're at home, it's fine. QB was on the other day; it was perfect. But the past two
Really?
times I talked to you, you've been at these travel stations. It's just been not good.
Huh.
Who you
Well,
got? Verizon?
no, I got T-Mobile.
Oh, well, there you have it. Then
I don't have problems with it. Works. I see you good. Everything looks good.
it's freezing though. It's the frames are freezing. It's a slow frame. The frames are moving slow. I'm looking
Which
at it.
system? Which
I'm
system are you using? OBS?
no, I'm on Ecamm.
Uh, might be the settings. I gotta send you a screenshot of my settings one time on
I
Ecamm.
talk to people all the time on live. It's just when you're out, when you're at home, it's fine. When QB, I talked to him the other day. It was perfect. So
Really?
yeah, you watched the one with QB. You said the young black kid you were talking to.
Yeah.
You watched it live and it was perfect. So I got the
I'm
settings.
shocked.
It's something that's pulling from that your phone.
Even here, I got all the bars.
No, we hear you perfectly fine, but the audio is fine, but the frames are freezing. The
That's what I'm
frames are
saying.
moving
Even
slow.
here, the bars are all full, and this is that new iPhone 14.
And I don't think it has anything to do with the iPhone. I think it's just the delay from wherever you're at.
That's strange.
But man, they got the info, man. So I gotta answer these questions. If you can get a better signal, then I'll
No, I'm
bring you
good. If
back
there's
up.
any questions too, I'll answer them in the bottom. But
Okay,
that's
cool.
it. I'm going to bed soon.
Okay.
All right, bye.
All right. So let me get back to these questions. In 2023, people believe that gas prices are the same across the country. There's a lot of people entering the space now. I don't think what he's saying is they don't know the gas prices. What he's saying, I believe, is people need to be more mindful and map out their route. There's technology, since we're speaking on technology, that you can look and see what gas prices are on your route. So if you know you need to stop and get gas and you're driving on, let's say, Highway 95, and you got 100 miles to E and you're passing a travel plaza now and it's 350 a gallon, but 10 miles down the road there's another travel plaza and it's 325 a gallon. That 25 cents that you're saving a gallon, it'll add up. So basically what he's saying, I believe, is just utilize technology to see what lies on the road ahead so that you can, save money, which will maximize your earnings later. A lot of people just stop and get gas, all laissez faire. But when you're running a business, you have to be more efficient and mindful of what you're paying for certain things. So I believe that's what he's saying. I saw an interview with one of the creators of ChatGPT, and he said it's more to come. Yeah, so it is more to come, and it's learning you too. You know what I'm saying? So it's already, to me, I'm already amazed at it. So let's see. Actually, you tell us a lot of a game too, but I think we all know gas prices vary depending on where you are. Uh Axel's out on the road. I enjoy talking to Axel. I just want Axel to be careful because he kind of savage with it, and you can get away with that in some of these places, but some places you can't. I don't want him to get too carried away and get that just instilled in his mind that he could just be walking up on people's trucks like that. You know what I'm saying? How many full size pallets can you get on a 16-foot truck carrier? Six to eight, depending on the pallet size. And the reason why I say that is it depends on the pallet size and depends on what you're doing. You got pallets that have couches, and it's like a special type of pallet. It's a long pallet. Now, so if it depends on the type of pallets you're talking about, whether it's standard pallets, sofa pallets. I've been doing final mile, so we get sofa pallets, right? Sofa pallet. Once you put a sofa pallet on a truck, let's say you got two sofa pallets, you can put two sofa pallets and then two regular pallets because those pallets are longer. Basically, a sofa pallet is just like two pallets put together. But you know, it all depends on the pallets. Axel ain't no savage. He's just tweaking. That's what he doing. He tweaking. Let me see if I can bring this. I'm trying to bring him back up. What are you doing, Lauren? What are you trying to do? Are you trying to do regular uh like regular runs, or are you doing like some final mile stuff? I get what he's saying, and it's one of the things I've never understood about people who go into the kind of business company logo on the van, truck, properly uniform employees go a long way. Gas Buddy will tell you gas price is true. Gas Buddy is really good. I'm surprised more people do not use it. Maybe they're afraid it's a scam. I don't know why these guys don't use Gas Buddy. I mean, a lot of people use their phone now, their iPhone, and I believe even with the iPhone, um, it'll show you fuel prices. And if you got like a newer like Ford Transit or something like that, I believe those come with Apple CarPlay. So I'm deciding between driving a box truck or a cargo van. I enjoy driving. I'm a people person. I like jobs. Who is this? Oh, there you go. Yeah, you freezing again, man.
Is it working?
The frames are freezing.
Still?
Yep.
Oh, that's weird.
The audio is fine, but the frames are freezing.
All right,
I
this
don't know.
is. You got to have the hat out here.
The what?
Savage hat.
Oh, I'm just trying to driving between a box truck or a cargo van. I enjoy driving. I'm a people person. I like jobs that can keep me active, but I'm trying to figure out which way to go. Well, if you're looking to get a 16-foot box truck, you can fit 8 pallets on a 16-foot box truck. 8 standard pallets, 4 on each side. Cargo van, about 3, depending on which cargo van you get. If you get a regular cargo van versus an extended length. But if you go 16-foot box truck and you're doing standard pallets, you're not doing like furniture pallets and nothing like that. If you're doing standard pallets, then you can put 8 on there.
Mark, a lot of times they don't fit.
What, on a 16-footer?
It's not 90 inches across.
You can put 8 pallets on. I put 8 pallets on a 16-foot box truck. Plenty of times.
Depending on, yes, sometimes they got those 48 by 48s, but you might have been hauling 40s. Not all those. They got to check the 16 footers. Not all of them are 90 inches.
But see, here's the
Why?
thing. Here's the thing, and that I was going to get into that. Not all 16-foot box trucks are 16-foot box trucks. All right, if you get a budget box truck, let's say you buy a old budget box truck and it says 16 feet, they're gonna sell it to you. It's gonna say 16 feet, but it's really 15 feet. All right. The true 16 footer, Penske makes a true 16 footer. Their box build is 16 feet to spec. Budget trucks are not 16 feet to spec. So it also depends on who you're buying the box truck from, like whoever owned it. If you're buying like an old used rental box truck, unless you're buying a new box truck from the dealer manufacturer that you have built out, then you can get it built out to spec. Well, he disappeared. So that depends, but if you get a true 16-foot box truck, Lauren, you can fit 8 pallets on there. A U-Haul don't make 16-foot. They make 15-foot. Budgets are like 15 and some change. Penske makes true 16-foot. I'm not sure about Ryder. I'm factoring many things. I live in Northeast, and I know it's competitive in these areas. It's competitive in all areas right now. It's competitive in all areas right now. Seems like bandwidth internet issue since the audio is fine, but video is choppy. Yeah, I think he's having an issue with the. I don't know. I'm streaming from my system, and my system is strong. I don't know. Whenever he's on his cell phone, it acts like this. So, Adam Garcia says, have you worked for XPO Last Mile Best Buy dedicated account? If so, can you share your experience on the account? So yes, I've dealt with XPO on an account before, not for Best Buy. When we ran XPO, it was for IKEA. When I ran Best Buy, it was through a company called Installs, which has been acquired by a company now called NAL. And when we ran Best Buy, we didn't run the appliance division, we ran the TV division. So my company delivered all the flat screen TVs, and we delivered and did the setup for all flat screen TVs. Now the experience I had with XPO, the experience was fine. XPO is just really, they're a stickler for insurance. So what most third-party logistics companies are okay with, which is the standard 1 million general liability, 1 million commercial auto, 100,000 cargo. That doesn't suffice for XPO. I had to get a $3 million umbrella on top of that, which is ultimately why I dissolved that contract and walked away from it, because with that $3 million umbrella, it was too costly to run that contract with what they were paying, and they weren't willing to play ball with me on the rates. So that was a decision. It was a hard decision that I had to make for the betterment of my business. Now, since that division of XPO has went to their newly started sister company, RXO, you have that umbrella, and then there's a couple more insurances that they want you to add to your policy. Accidental occupational insurance, and there's another insurance that they want you to add to the policy as well, on top of that additional umbrella, which is going to drive your insurance up. I think Pippi is running for XPO. So that's my experience with XPO. But I didn't run Best Buy for XPO. I ran IKEA. I ran Best Buy for NAL. XPO not giving small guys dedicated. They actually do give small guys dedicated for Final Mile. Yes, they do, Axel. Final Mile, you could get a contract, dedicated contract, Final Mile with XPO. You can definitely get a dedicated run. I talked to the rep 2 days ago for XPO. I ran dedicated for XPO. 3 trucks. for IKEA. Oh yes, you can. Final Mile. I ran 3 trucks for IKEA, doing running on IKEA for XPO. You can run 1 truck XPO, Axel. Pippi runs XPO. She's in the chat now as my moderator. You can run trucks, not vans. You can run vans XPO. They got expedited. On RXO, you can. I don't know who you're talking to over there, Axel. You got to talk to my people. That's what I'm saying. I may have some stuff for RXO too. They want me to. They've been talking with me for the past few months to be an ambassador for them because they're starting that program. But really, they're trying to build it out around me because they didn't even have that program. But I've been talking to the corporate people there, so I may have some stuff to help people out coming up with XPO RXO. Once we work out all the particulars, we've been talking for about 2 months. I just haven't agreed to anything yet, man. So because they want exclusivity, and I gotta see if I want to give them exclusive me. I gotta see if I want to, give them that exclusive rights to ambassadorship. So, but if I do decide to do it, part of the deal is to be able to provide my subscribers things. So just stay tuned for that. I believe they have removed the requirement for the umbrella coverage. Could you tell me the average you pay your drivers and helpers if you don't mind? Would you like to get a ballpark for a Texas account? What are they paying you? Do you have this account already, or is it something you're looking to acquire? RXO will allow you to start with 1 box truck for dedicated accounts. Depends on the location manager. Right. So yeah, see Axel, box trucks and vans is two different ball games. 2 different ball games, Axel. Final Mile is a different ball game than expedited. Yeah, but let me get back to this question. What's your are you running for RXO yet, Adam, or no? And if you are, give me your rate, your contract rate, and if you're not and you inquired and they gave you a contract rate, what's your contract rate? Because Texas may be similar to up here as far as the rates. You said they removed the umbrella coverage. Could you tell me? Hold on a second. Let me pull something up. Let me pull something up for RXO. Give me 1 second. I want to pull something up. Because I gotta hold on. I'm gonna pull something up. RXO, where is that at? Where is that at? Let me a second, yo. Let me see RXO. Let me see, where is that at? Hold on. All right, hold on, y'all. Let me share my screen with y'all real quick. Let me share my screen. Let me remove this. Let me remove this banner. Let me share my screen. All right. All right, so this is a RXO COI. All right, and these are the requirements as of current. Make sure y'all hit that like button too. Hit that like button for me. Hit that like button. Hit that like button. All right. All right. So this is a RXO, uh, uh, a core form COI. These are all their requirements as of current right now. All right. All right. So what I want to look at right here is we want to look at the additional. All right. Man, I got too much stuff up. Let me move some of this stuff out the way. Give me a second, y'all. I gotta move some stuff out the way so I can see everything. Let me move that out the way. All right. So XPO last mile affiliates and all customers are listed as additional insured with respect to general liability. General liability is hereby endorsed, including complete operations, affiliates and all customers, blah, blah, blah. So for the 30-day notice. Hold on, this is not what I want to show y'all, but this is what they want. 1 million aggregate. I mean, 2 million aggregate, 1 million general liability. 1 million 100. Hold on, it's something else I want to show you guys. Give me 1 second. Let me pull it up. They got some additional stuff I gotta show you guys. I know they got some occupational accident stuff. Where that at? I know I got it on my computer somewhere. Where's that at, man? Man, they got something else, man. Some occupational accident insurance that you got to get for RXO. I thought I had it on my computer. Shoot. Hold on, y'all. Thought I had it. Well, you do need workers' comp. So you see workers' comp here. They require workers' comp, as you can see it here. So they want workers' comp, but they have some type of occupational accidental insurance that they want you to add as well. I have it somewhere on my computer. I just can't find it, but they do want workers' comp. So with XPO, you gotta get workers' comp, and they are strict about it. They are strict about it. So there's another type of insurance they want. I just can't find it right now. So I don't want to be looking for it on the computer while I got y'all on live. So I'm sorry I can't show y'all, but there's some other stuff that they wanted. Let me pull all my stuff back up. Yeah. All right, so you can get the occupational in lieu of the workers' comp. All right, so but here's the thing: the occupational, right, is if you're on the truck doing the work, then you get the occupational. All right, the workers' comp comes in if you're not on the truck. So if I got a truck running, I got 2 guys out doing final mile. I'm not one of the guys on the truck doing final mile. You get workers' comp. You can't get occupational accidental insurance on other people. You can only get that on yourself. So you can't get workers' comp on yourself. So for yourself, you get occupational accidental. All right. For your employees, you get workers' comp. Now, if you're getting away with it like that, because I know you're not on the truck, then you're getting away with it. But technically, that's how it works. For yourself, if you're on the truck working, you get occupational accidental. If you have people working for you, you get workers' comp. You don't get workers' comp on yourself. You get occupational accidental. Right now it includes disability because right when I it's on my computer somewhere I can't find it, but when I was reading through the verbiage, it has something about death too. Like if you die on the job, they're indemnified. So basically, what I'm saying is XPO's insurance is their requirements are like no other. Other companies will let you go with just the basic minimum. XPO wants to indemnify themselves all the way down to if you die on the job. So there is some more insurance that you got to get when you're running for RX. So all right, let me get back to it. Depends on the location manager. All right, so stop pay $40.75 per stop, average 550 per day. That's kind of low. That's low. Yeah, that's real low. I wouldn't be able to make that. I wouldn't be able to run that account up here. I wouldn't be able to run that account. That 550, about 500 of that goes to payroll. Just to get somebody to come to work to do that type of work up here, it's gonna cost me $250 for a driver. You know what I'm saying? And another 150 to 200 for a helper a day. So 550 for two guys, $40 a stop. I wouldn't even, me personally, I couldn't even take that account. It's not enough money. My payroll to run that account per truck is going to be about 500. And I know people will say, "Oh, well, you can get." I had a lady pay for a coaching session and said she had a coaching session with a lady on Final Mile. She said she didn't know what she was talking about. She said, "Yeah, you can find somebody to run a Final Mile doing 10, 12, 11 stops for $80." No, you're not. No, you're not. Nobody's going to do that type of work for $80 a day. All right. Ain't nobody finna do that work for $100 a day. I was paying people $100 a day to do Final Mile 10 years ago. All right. Nowadays, a guy to do Final Mile, a driver, 200 to 250. If it's a guy that's been around for a long time, then he's probably making an upwards of $300. All right. Because he's the driver and the laborer. He doesn't get a break. All right. So no, your helper is a minimum of $150. Who's coming to work nowadays for less than $150? Especially to do some heavy lifting. So $40 a day, $40 a stop. How do you break that down? All right. How do you break that down? If it's $40 a stop, you're looking at like, okay, 50% to your labor. If you look at it like 50% to your labor, that's $20 to labor. So who's going to accept a $10 a stop? I don't. Yeah, it's not enough money. Are you renting your truck, Adam, or do you own your truck? Workman's comp. You have to have it, but it's not enforced. So here it's not enforced. So all right. So pay rate in Texas, depending on location, about 100 to 150 to 200 for helpers. For helpers between 125 to 150. All right. So let's say you're paying your driver 200 and you're paying your helper 150. That's 350. You're making 550. All right. So that means you got 200 left. Are you renting your truck or do you own your truck? Or you're not even running the account yet, are you? Looking into getting a truck running, doing research first based off other companies. They probably not gonna want me to tell you this because they've been watching my content. Because they've been trying to recruit me. But I'm gonna be honest with you. Do you own the trucks yet or no? 550 ain't enough money. All right. 200, 150, that's 350. All right. You got 200 left. You got to factor in your fuel, your truck cost, right? All right. You got to factor in your insurance. All right. You got to factor in you're running local, so you're not going to need logging, your ELD. So factor in your insurance, factor in your truck costs, factor in your fuel. All right. So depending on what that is, depending on how many miles they got you going out, once you start, they're gonna give you the worst route they got because you're new. So they're gonna give you the worst route. So they may send you out 100 miles. They may send you out to the boondocks. All right. So if they send you out 75 miles and then you do a route out there and your route is 25 miles, that's 100 miles, and then you got to come 100 miles back to where you started. Because they can send you up to, what is it, 200 RXO, 200, 250 miles. All right. So you're not going to be making much money, if any. 550 is not a lot of money to run final mile. All right. And you're going to start these guys at 200, but eventually you're going to have to pay your driver 250. Your helper, you're going to have to pay them somewhere between 150, 200. You probably going to get them to start at 200 and 150, but after a few weeks, they're going to want more. Because all that time that they're driving out to the sticks, and then once their route is done and then they got to drive back 100 miles, they're going to want to get compensated for that. So at $40 a stop, there's no way to really, like, how you're not, you're operating at a loss. It's not enough money, man. To make money on a good final mile contract, you need about $750 a day minimum. If you're not taking $750 a day minimum, then it's not really worth it. You need about $750 a day minimum to operate on at least a 10% margin. $550, you're not gonna make no money. It's gonna be costing you money to run that. So $750 should put you at about a 10% margin. So final mile, you can't take nothing less than $750. And in order to take $750, your expenses need to be minimum. Like, meaning you can't run $750 contract, a $750 a day contract renting a truck. You gotta own your truck. All right. You have to own your truck. All right. Yeah, $550 is not gonna work. There's no way you can break that $40 down. Because even if you say, okay, half of this 40 is gonna go to payroll, that's $20. What are you gonna pay the driver, 15 and the helper 5, or the driver 10 and 10? Ain't anybody gonna work for that. So then they do 10 stops. That's $100 a piece. All right, that 10 stops is gonna take them 10 hours. It's not gonna work. Because you gotta count in the time that they have to go to the logistics company. They gotta load their truck. All right. They gotta load their truck. Then from the loading their truck, they gotta drive to wherever their route is. And when you start, your route is gonna be the farthest out. You're gonna have the worst route. And then at the end of the route, that crew is gonna have to drive back. So $550, I don't know, it's not worth it. I wouldn't take it because that would get ate up in my payroll. Thank you for the information. Appreciate it. Any other questions? Try if you're still here, Adam, look into UST. Look into UST. Look into UST and look at T-Force for Home Depot. Another company, if you're really interested, I know you said Best Buy with XPO, RXO. Another company that runs Best Buy is Pilot. Look at them. Now I know Pilot has contracts for Best Buy paying $900 a day. All right, so you might want to look at Pilot for that Best Buy if you're really headstrong on running Best Buy. Look at Pilot. Their rates over there are a little bit better. You can ask for more, but man, XPO they kind of sticklers. They let me walk away with 3 trucks. They didn't care. They didn't get no care in the world. Yep. So But yeah, try pilot, Adam. If you're headstrong on Best Buy. If you're not headstrong on Best Buy and you want better rates, try UST or T Force. Yep, no problem. All right, any more questions regarding to what do we talk about tonight? Yeah, I forgot what I did a presentation on tonight. What did I talk about tonight? All right, make sure you guys hit that like button. All right, if any questions on cash flow or any other questions, if not, then I'm gonna get out of here. Yeah, cash flow. I'm tweaking, man. I know it's getting late. I did a whole presentation about it and forgot what the hell I talked about. What's wrong with using dispatchers? I don't know. I don't talk about dispatchers. I don't think a lot of people like using them because they have to pay for them. Um, but I don't know. I feel like if middle mile was my lane, I would just dispatch myself. I hear a lot of people. I don't want to say talk bad about them, but I see people say that they don't use them. There's some people that do use them. I mean, that's not really my lane. But if I ran middle mile or if middle mile was my thing, I would probably dispatch myself because that 10%. I've been hearing even some dispatchers are charging 20%. That 10% that I would be paying out to the dispatcher, that's 10% that could be going in my pocket for something I could do myself. You know what I'm saying? So other than that, I don't have anything about dispatchers, but that's not something that I've had to utilize in my lane. We don't use dispatchers with Final Mile. Axel doesn't like dispatchers. I know Kirk doesn't like dispatchers. Kirk went on a whole tangent about dispatchers a few weeks ago. Most seasoned people don't deal with dispatchers because that 10%, that's if you pay that 10% out, that 10% can go into on top of your margin. If you have any profit outside of you paying the dispatcher, you can add that 10% on top of that for something you can do yourself. Just downloading a load board and booking your own loads. It just takes a little time. Some people get dispatchers because I guess maybe they don't know how to book loads, or maybe they're just too busy that they're paying for this service. But I don't know why each individual person doesn't like dispatchers. Um, but I do know that seasoned people don't like dispatchers. They don't use them. You know. I installed for Best Buy and Lowe's. How would you go about scaling other regions? Man, you know what? If you would asked me this question some years ago, I could have gave you a solid business plan. I can give you that same solid business plan now. I just don't know if it'll work. If I were going to scale another region, I would fly out to that region. I would scope that region. I would look at I would research the target market. Um, and as far as hiring, I would just put up some ads on Indeed. I would get the equipment out to that market that I need to get out there to uh, start onboarding candidates for that business. I would let the logistics companies know that I'm running with in the home market, know that I'm expanding to another market. Because I actually did this before with Select, and then I would have them start funneling me work into that new market. Um, the only issue I see with scaling now is work, retaining, retention. Finding workers, and then the retention of those workers is just hard. Finding people to work now and keeping them. The average turnaround now is 6 months. So with the logistics companies, you need to be there every day. You can't leave nothing on the dock. Nowadays, they charge you for the stuff. So, I mean, scaling the business isn't really hard. You know what I'm saying? It's finding the people and keeping them is the hard thing now. And, that's harder than anything else. But you install, so you don't need trucks. You just installing. So if you're just installing and it doesn't require any equipment, I would put an ad up for a seasoned, experienced uh, appliance installer, right? I would let the logistics companies know that I'm doing who I'm working for to do installations, that I'm expanding into another market, and I would just put up an ad and um, and pay very handsomely, right? Understand that in order to retain a good candidate, especially if you find a good candidate, you got to pay very handsomely. And I would pay someone very handsomely, and then I would continue to do that. Yeah. So go to my website, www.boxtruckcourses.com, on that banner, and you could schedule something. www.boxtruckcourses.com. Screw those dispatchers. Yeah, I don't have nothing against dispatchers because I've never had to utilize them, so I don't have no issues with them. Um, my experience is majority of dispatchers promise what they can't deliver. Cheaper to get your own loads. That's something I hear too. And then now you got a lot of inexperienced dispatchers. Dispatching is like the box truck thing. There's a lot of new people that have gotten into the space. And I think dispatching is something that requires a lot of skill. All right. A lot of skill and a lot of relationships. And I think a lot of these new dispatchers just don't have the relationships in order to be successful uh, uh, with taking on a bunch of clients. They'll take on a bunch of clients, right? But they don't have the relationships to fulfill work, efficient work, right? Efficient and sufficient work for the clients they're taking on. All right. So I can say, oh, okay, I got Mark's dispatching service, right? And okay, Mark has 9,000 subscribers. Let's say 10% of those people come to me and say, all right, Mark, we want you to dispatch this, right? So now I got 10% of 9,000. That's 900 people that's saying, okay, Mark, dispatch for me, but Mark doesn't have relationships enough that I can fulfill work for this amount of people. And I think that's where the problem is coming in, that a lot of people are probably having now with dispatch. They just don't have that. They just don't have that network. They're not experienced enough yet. Billy kicked his dispatchers to the curb and does his own now. Shout out to Billy. Axel still going off about those dispatchers. Axel been going off about a bunch of stuff for the past 2-3 lives. Dispatchers, couriers, other companies. He's walking around parking lots, pointing cameras at people while they trying to sleep. Axel's been tweaking. He went off the other night. I had the Woo sign for about an hour. I went back and watched the replay of that live, and I was looking at the chat. I didn't realize he was going off in the chat before I had even brought him up on the screen. Axel, I don't know what's going on with Axel. All right, no problem. Oh, man. Don't tell me my mouse died. Yeah, my mouse died. Oh, shoot. Hold on. What is this? Oh. All right, there it goes. All right. They don't negotiate for real. They would try to send you to the end of the earth with pennies in a line, not even in the U.S. Well, there you go. That's why people don't like dispatchers. What are your thoughts on T Force? All right, so T Force used to be called Dynamics, and that story I gave earlier tonight about the company that didn't pay me for a month, and I had to float that payroll for a month, like 16 grand. That was T Force, which was Dynamics. Um, the reason why I can't be mad at T Force is because, and this is a true story, I didn't know nothing about final mile delivery. T Force, the guy who didn't pay me, was the same guy that called and said, "Hey, we're having trouble with this IKEA account. You know, we've never. This is when e-commerce was starting to boom, and we're used to dealing small parcel stuff, and our guys are not trained to maneuver furniture. This is all new to us, and we're really struggling with claims. These guys are just used to dropping off office supplies and small packages. So, we're thinking about bringing in moving companies to kind of help us save this contract because we know this is the wave of the future. And your company was on the top of the list. Can you come in for a meeting? So, because of that, I was able to leverage and negotiate my rate. The reason why I can't tell you anything bad about T Force, even though they didn't pay me for a month at one time, is because it wasn't on them. It was on this guy. I believe he just didn't like me. He was racist. I don't think he knew that the company was black owned because his face when I came in for the meeting, he saw this young 32-year-old kid with my locks were not mature like they are now. I've been growing up since 2010, so they were kind of scruffy and rugged, and I just saw the look on his face. And when I sat down in a meeting with them, and they were like, "Well, man, we need this many trucks," and I said, "Yeah, I can send you however many trucks you need." And I got that account. He played with my money. All right, so even though I got the money, um, as far as the company is concerned, everybody else, as far as management in that company, treated me very, very fairly up until a point where I ran into this guy named Chris Alvarez. All right. And I'm saying their names too. I'm not going to withhold their names because I got issues with them. So I'll say their names. Um, that account is what introduced me to Final Mile, which opened me up to a world that I never knew existed, and it allowed me to create a whole nother company outside of my moving company, in which eventually became uh, that trucking company, that Final Mile trucking company, eventually passed the moving company in revenue, and that's what got me my first $1 million gross revenue year. I had never grossed $1 million in moving, but I was able to gross that with Final Mile, and that was all due to this company, T Force Dynamics. So, you know, T Force Dynamics always gonna have a place, I guess, inside my heart, all mushy and stuff, because I know that's the company that made me who I am today. Um, I had my ups and downs with them, obviously, but for the most part, they're a good company. And when you do have situations, they have a corporate structure in Dallas that you can reach out to, and they'll rectify a situation. Um, so that's my take on T Force. I don't really have no grudges with them. Now they have a hard time keeping accounts. I can say that. There's plenty of accounts that I've dealt with T Force that they've lost. They lost IKEA. At one point, they lost Granger. They lost Amazon at one point. I think they got Office Depot back. So they have a hard time keeping accounts. I haven't been with them in some years now, so I don't know how that corporate structure is. But each branch is ran differently. The branch here outside of Chicago, they always struggled with management, and that's why this branch was ran so poorly. But for the most part, I think it's a good company that I don't see going anywhere. they're partnered now with UPS, so I'm sure their infrastructure as far as their operations now is a lot better because UPS can bring a lot of that corporate structure and kind of correct a lot of the just bad things that was going on with Dynamics back in the day. I'm pretty sure are corrected now. But yeah, for the most part, I have no gripes with T4. I think it's a good company, and if there's an opportunity that they have like Home Depot or Office Depot, I say you should try out for it. I have grudges about 20 companies. I know things, many things. You gonna always have a some type of occurrence, let's say, with a logistics company. You're never gonna see eye to eye. They're gonna do some things that you may not like, but I just learned that's the nature of the business. And what I learned is to make sure you keep account of everything you do. Just don't trust them. You know what I'm saying? As long as you keep account of your books, every single thing you do, then it's fine. You know what I'm saying? Um, Other than that, I can't really be mad at a logistics company. I had a account with Nonstop, and shoot, even when I dissolved that account, they were still paying me every week for 8 months. That's how far behind they were uh, paying me. Um, it's just the nature of the business, so that's why cash flow is very important. A lot of snakes and bloodsuckers in this business. Definitely a lot of snakes and a lot of bloodsuckers. But once again, that's why you got to keep account of your invoices. You got to keep tabs on every single thing you do. Just don't allow accounts payable, right, in these different logistics companies. Just don't believe accounts payable. Monitor every single thing you do, down to the job, down to the scope of the job. Man, input it into your notepad on your phone or whatever you need to do so that when accounts payable pays you, you can go through it and make sure you're getting paid correctly, because they will get you. They will get you. So, you know, a lot of good people also. Yeah, there's good people. I've met plenty of good people in Final Mile. Some people I built relationships with that were operation managers at one logistics company, and then they got hired at another logistics company making more money, and then they reached back to you. The reason I went over to Urban Express, right, for IKEA once Dynamics lost it is because when Urban Express took it, right, from IKEA, they hired the operations manager in this market to run it, right? And guess what? When he got over there, I applied. He was the one who pulled me in, right? I had another operations manager leave Dynamics, and this lady, she went to a medical supply company, right, to become the operations manager there. And guess what? When she got there and she needed help with the medical bids because all of her ICs were in vans and these vans couldn't take these medical bids, she called me and my company to come move the medical bed. So, you're going to build relationships and you're going to meet cool and good people that are in this business as well. Some of these people, they're just not good people. I had a situation with Dynamics. Oh, man, I had a lot of situations with Dynamics where they were soliciting my drivers. I actually did a video about that, the non-compete video. The non-compete is what actually stopped them from doing it. They thought I was stupid. I had a non-compete. They signed a non-compete and I signed a non-compete. They had a non-compete clause in their contract, but yet and still their dispatcher said, you can do this yourself. You don't need Bart. Go get your own truck. And I had a driver that was silly enough to do it. So I called a branch manager and said, man, we got a non-compete clause. You can't take my drivers. If my drivers leave me, you can't touch them for a year. So guess what? They thought I was stupid. They went to that guy and told him, hey, well, you can't run no more. You need to go work that out with Mark. Mark got to give it in writing that you can come work for us. And that dude came to my office with his head hanged down. Mark, man, you trying to stop me from eating. I ain't trying to stop you from doing nothing. But this is business. It's a certain way you got to go about it. I told you, if you want to go do your own thing, go do your own thing. But you can't go do your own thing at a company that I've been sending you to, that you've been working for me for going to. All right? You can't do that. It's not business. It's unethical. You know what I'm saying? So, Dynamics was a company that did that. They allowed those dispatchers to get into these guys' head, and it didn't work out. That's why you got to know your business. You got to know business. You know what I'm saying? I know business. I know what you can't do, and that was unethical. All right, there's certain business practices you just can't do. It's just an unethical business practice. And the crazy thing about it is, in their onboarding contract, it states that you can't solicit drivers. You can't touch a driver for a master contractor or an independent contractor for a year. But donuts and cookies go a long way. Sometimes small envelope across the desk. Ask her what you put in those small envelopes. Well, see, in your lane, actually, you got to do that type of stuff. But in Final Mile, you really don't got to do that type of stuff. It's dedicated and it's contractual rates. You're getting paid either per stop or per route. You know what I'm saying? If you're one of those lucky guys that know how to play ball really, really good, you can get a guarantee. But they're not really doing guarantees no more. So, all right. Any more questions? If not, I'm gonna go ahead and get up out of here, man. Skedaddle. All right. So hopefully somebody got some value about this cash flow that I talked about tonight. Gonna do a continuation Thursday. It's gonna be more business, boring stuff for you guys who want to come hear it. If you don't want to come hear the boring business stuff, then you ain't gotta come. But I'll be here talking some more boring business stuff, and it is what it is. And hopefully someone will get some type of value from this boring business stuff that I'm talking. Ain't too many people left in the box truck uh, community that's really kicking this stuff to you guys. So, it is what it is. I'm still hanging out there with y'all guys. So, it is what it is, man. It's been real quiet around these parts lately, man. I see a lot of new people coming in, though. They coming in angry, too. Like, now these new box truck content creators, they coming in angry. They trying to find their space. I guess, whatever. It is what it is. It is what it is. All right, any more questions? A lot of guys falling out. It is what it is. It's a tough business, man. You got to enter right. It's tougher to enter this business and maintain now than it has ever been. So you got to make sure you enter right. You got to make sure you execute right. You got to have a business plan. You got to have a mission statement. You got to make sure you know how to manage your cash flow, not misappropriate funds. So a lot of people don't know these things, man. But I'll keep bringing content as far as the industry and just things that I learned in school and things that I learned over the years in business, and hopefully this stuff can help somebody. You know what I'm saying? So I ain't, I'm not giving up on y'all. As long as it's one person coming, then I'll be here. So if it's not no more questions, man, I'm gonna get out of here. Shout out to everybody that is in that mentorship program that I did for free. So it was 6 people every Sunday I do for free. Out of 15, 6 showed up, and those 6 have been coming every single week. So next week is the last week, and shout out to y'all that have been coming, and they've been learning stuff every week. So shout out to them. Consultations is still on my website, www.boxtruckcourses.com. Working on building out a community. I'm working on some other stuff I really want to tell y'all about, but I can't right now. So, but one day I will be able to do it. Mark, with the new technology on the horizon, such as EVs, do you see it getting better for this space? Yeah, I see it getting more efficient. Somebody asked me this morning in the class what I thought about EVs. I think right now, as far as purchasing like an EV truck or an EV van, I think it's too early. I don't think the network is built out enough yet for that. But I think I think technology is going to make it better, one for the consumer, which is obviously the most important, and then it's going to make it better for the retailer as far as like the final mile side, because it's going to be a lot more efficient. There is a huge issue that a lot of people struggle back and forth with as far as um, a shortage of drivers. There definitely is a shortage of drivers. I know a lot of people say there's not a shortage of drivers. There definitely is a shortage of drivers, and that shortage is going to continue to get bigger. And technology is going to fulfill that void. Um, so it's going to be better for the consumer, and it's going to be better for the companies. Um, a lot of people that are naive to technology, they're gonna get left behind, and that just is what it is. A lot of people don't, they don't like it, they don't want to hear it, but it is what it is, man. Technology is EVs. EVs are important. EVs are important because of this carbon emission stuff. I don't really see the importance of like EVs like making like a change for efficiency, but more for like this carbon emission green stuff. But like some of this technology that I talked about a couple months ago, like this on demand manufacturing or en route manufacturing, I think that is something that's going to be a game changer. Like with 3D printing and the actual item that you order being manufactured um, on a vehicle en route to being delivered, like technology like that is fascinating. I think that's going to be a game changer, and that's going to replace a lot of the warehouse people and middle mile people and final mile people for as well. Um, what else? Artificial intelligence. I talk about that all the time as far as replacing like brokerage firms by brokers within brokerage firms. I think the AI is just going to handle most of the back and forth between the shipper and the carrier. It'll be that middleman, and it'll remove that human element out the way, which is the crook that everybody complains about, which will be better for the carrier because now the carrier will be able to make more money. Um, yeah, I think technology is going to be a lot better for the space. We're going to need technology in the space to fulfill a lot of the voids that humans are leaving behind. And it's unfortunate, um, but it is what it is. So we need the technology. We need it. It's ugly out here, Mark. How so? The like button is should be at the top under my name, I believe. What do you mean Derek is ugly out here? What's going on? Derek gonna be rough for a while, but the storm passes. I agree, bro, with speaking in terms of overall operating costs for a business. Oh, I agree. You were speaking of overall operating costs. I think EVs will say if you're talking about EV as far as saving you money, it'll save you some money. I got a Tesla, and it's a lot less than filling up a tank of fuel, but I would be scared. If I were to get and somebody asked me that this morning too, I would be scared right now. I can't say about the future, but if right now, if I were looking for a vehicle, I would probably get a gas van or a gas truck. I wouldn't get an EV. In this market. Now, if I were in San Francisco, then yeah, by all means, because that is a out there in Silicon Valley, it's a tech city, so they got charging stations everywhere. The network isn't that built up in this market, but you'll save some money. You'll save some money. They've been raising the rates on the kilowatt hours for charging. It was like 18 cent, then it went up to 21 cent. Now it's 32 cents. Sometimes it's 40 cent. You know what I'm saying? So um, you're gonna save some money, yeah. For EV, but I wouldn't invest in an EV van or truck at this moment if I were looking for a vehicle. But you'll save money if you do. You'll definitely save money. You'll definitely save money. You're gonna need a charging station wherever you park that thing at night, a level one. Uh, for a van, I would actually pay to have it upgraded to a level two or a truck. Um, yeah, I park my box truck and roll to CL school and go and get my knowledge up while I wait for things to even out. It's too lopsided right now. Mark, work dying up, rates are trash and just not profitable to run the box truck anymore, in my opinion. Hey man, I hear you. If it's not working out for you, then you got to do what you got to do. Major decision for a business owner is knowing when to hang it up. You know what I'm saying? Some people have a longer run before they realize, what, it's time to hang it up. Some people have a shorter run, you know what I'm saying? But if something isn't working out for you and you're not profitable at it, then, that's a tough decision. But, you know, you know, a good business person is gonna make the right decision. All right, So if you know it's time to hang it up, then it's time to hang it up. You gotta do what's best for you. So don't feel bad about it. You gave it your all, and if it just didn't work out, it didn't work out. You just take it as a learning lesson and just keep going. What do you think about 2007 box truck? About 240 or 204,000 miles to enter the box truck business. I think as long as you took a mechanic with you to check it out and they gave you the thumbs up, then I say go ahead. I'm not against older box trucks. I know some people are, but I'm not. You know what I'm saying? So, um, as long as you do your due diligence and you take someone that's certified with you to diagnose that truck wherever you're buying it from or whoever you're buying it from on the spot, and they give you the thumbs up, then I say, go ahead. What do I think about all these apps such as GoShare, Dolly, USIP, etc.? I think they're one of the reasons why. Uh, I think they're one of the reasons why guys like me have been forced to scale down. Um, but that goes back to what I'm saying as far as technology and understanding, what the future brings. I can't knock evolution. I can't knock technology. I think these apps are ways for people to make money instantly. And then on top of that, retailers need these apps. Why? Because retailers are in competition with each other. Retailers' main competition now is getting consumers the things that they order on their websites to them the fastest. All right, everybody's in competition. That's what retailers' main objective is. How to get online orders to the consumer's doorsteps the fastest. And we all know, or I know, some of you guys may not know, but some of you guys may know, but I know that third party logistics companies can't turn over freight in a day like that. They just don't have the resources to. They don't have the infrastructure. All right. So the best way for retailers to get things to a consumer's doorstep the same day is to do in-store fulfillment, right? Build out areas in their back room to do in-store fulfillment, do curbside pickup, and also partner with applications where you got people that are already out in the field doing other gig apps, turning on their apps, getting orders, coming to the store, picking the item up, and taking it directly to the consumer. All right. Third-party logistics companies can't do that. All right. So in order for these retail stores to be able to do that, until technology continues to further advance, then these retailers depend on the apps. They need the apps. Uh, they need the apps because they need the gig workers to get those items to the consumers, um, ASAP. Um, at first, I didn't like it because they were messing guys like me up. But it's something I had to get used to and accustomed to. I can't knock it. So it is what it is. I think it's a great opportunity for people to make money and supplement income. I can't knock that either. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I don't care for Dolly too much though. I have no issue with Ghost Share. Dolly, I really don't like. I don't really like their format. I don't like the way they pay people. Um, and I think their growth since their inception in 2013, 2014 shows that they've let apps that have come out after them pass them up. And that Dolly is a company that was started here in Chicago. And I just don't like what they pay people. I think they're ripping off the guys that the the service providers. Um, I think they're ripping them off bad. You know what I'm saying? Like I talked to a guy who ran Dolly, and I asked him what he was getting paid to do a particular job, and what he told me they were paying him for if you hired my company to do that. And actually, the person did because my company was there doing a move, and he was selling a couch. He wasn't taking the couch to the new place, so he sold the couch, and the guy he sold the couch to hired a guy off Dolly to come move it. Now, this is a reclining sofa on the third floor, right? And this guy came by himself in a pickup truck on a day it was raining. He had no shrink wrap, no nothing. Obviously, he couldn't move it. The customer opted to help him, but they couldn't lift it. All right, so I said, man, what is Dolly paying you to do this? He said $100. $100 to take a sleeper sofa off a third floor, load it onto your pickup truck, and drive it across town, and then take it. No, we ended up having to do it. Charge them $300. All right. I just feel like that's unfair, and I think this is why that app hasn't really grown that much. So I really don't care for Dolly like that. But other apps I don't have no issue with. It just is what it is. But yeah, that's how I feel about the apps. But yeah, getting back to that EV, I think it'll save you money ultimately. I know I kind of rambled on about the EV vans and trucks, but ultimately I think an EV van will definitely save you money in comparison to fuel. I just think that it's too soon uh, to purchase a work vehicle. Um, I just I want to see how Amazon is doing with those Rivian vans that they rolled out because I know those vans they should I think they're doing a full day on a single charge. They're still kind of new, so I'm curious to see what the report is going to be on that. I'm kind of curious to know how those vans are doing, but you'll definitely save money. All right, any more questions about whatever? If not, then I'm out of here, man. Like I said, I hope somebody got some type of value from the that presentation about cash flow. So we'll just continue that Thursday, I think I might talk about some technology stuff. I wanted to talk about some technology stuff in comparison to trucking today, but I wanted to knock out that cash flow since I talked about paying yourself Thursday. I know I talked a little bit about it Friday night, but I think I want to go deeper into that Thursday, because a lot of people getting into this space now and they thinking this is gonna be like a 30-year plan, and I'm telling you, it's not. It's ways you can make more money in trucking outside of your truck, and what I mean outside of your truck is like literally outside of your truck, not even owning a truck, with the right investments, making the right plays. If you said, hey, Mark, here go 50 grand right now. Here go 50 grand. Go get you a truck. Go get in the trucking space. I wouldn't go buy a truck with that 50 grand. I'd take that 50 grand and I'd go invest it into something else and make a lot more money than what I would probably be making in that truck. You know what I'm saying? In the trucking industry, I know what artificial intelligence, um, and I know what autonomy is going to do in the next couple years. It's going to have a bubble. It's going to have a bubble, just like how this box truck bubble thing was last year, just like how the EV bubble was in 2020, just like how the dot-com bubble was in the late 99, 2000, 2001. Semi-autonomous, autonomy, whether semi-autonomous, fully autonomous, just autonomy, period, and artificial intelligence is on the brink of a bubble. And I would rather take that 50 and go invest it into something like Fetch AI and watch watch me run that up and turn that 50 into 5 million. All right. And that's what I would do, me personally. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is. We having a party? Nope. The day I hit it, I probably won't even realize it, and you won't even know it. When I hit 5, I didn't do a post. When I hit 1,000, I didn't do a post. I mean, it's cool. When the day I hit it, you won't see me do a post. You won't say, "Hey, I did 10,000." This is what it is. I'm not really here for that. You know what I'm saying? I'm here to just help people out, do this stuff, talk to you, communicate with people, answer questions based on my experience. I know sometimes I answer questions, I be rambling, but and then just give people, I'm not one of the people, like I see a lot of new guys, they just do the same recycled content. The box truck business is dead. The box truck business is that, but ain't nobody really educating people that need help. So if I know I got the experience, right, and I know I got the background, then I just use my platform to educate and teach. I could easily get up here and tell you stories about how I fired this guy one day, or how this guy ran one of my trucks into a bridge and tore the roof off, or um, how these guys were fighting on a truck one day, and or whatever. I could tell you a bunch of stories and whatever, but I think I like to use my time to help people out by educating them. So it is what it is. But yeah, when we get to that, maybe you guys will say something, but I won't. I won't be the one to say nothing. Maybe I'll get something away that day, or that live or something. Yeah, man. I'm always cool, man, and humble, man. And chill, man. So as long as one person coming, I'll be here. You should do a story episode. I thought about it, man, but man, nobody want to hear my boring stories, man. Nobody want to hear my boring stories, man. I got a lot of them though. I got a lot of them, man. It was a tough road, man. I dealt with a lot of interesting characters. I did a lot of things, man, and I got a lot of stories, but man, nobody want to hear my stories, man. Maybe one day, man. To your knowledge, what's the best expedite event? I'll give an answer, but I'll let Axel answer that, because that's his lane. I say a Sprinter, Mercedes-Benz Sprinter, Ford Transit, 2500, 3500. That's what I would say. I'm not a big fan of the Ram ProMaster. Everyone likes stories. I just bought a 2018 26-foot box truck from Penske. I've done everything in my authority is active What's my next step? Do I need to take it and have it inspected? You bought it from Penske, so was it a level 1, level 2, or level 3 when you bought it? Because they do that at Penske and they sell it to you either level 1, level 2, or level 3. You can take it. You're gonna have to take it to get it inspected anyway. Yeah, so you could take it to get it inspected. Do you have your LLC? You got your incorporation? You got your SS4 form? Your EIN? Let me know if you got all that stuff. That's my favorite model. That's my favorite Mercedes 2500 for long term. Yeah, I like the Mercedes Benz Sprinter too, but if I were on the market to buy a van today, it would probably be a Transit because the Transit would be cheaper. You know, the Mercedes would be my first option, but the Transit would be cheaper. So. You said level 1, so level 1 exceeds DOT, so you should be good. But you could take it in for an inspection anyway. I would definitely take it and get it diagnosed at a diesel mechanic just to go behind. I don't know if you took one with you when you went and purchased it, but I would definitely take it and get it checked out. When I bought me the provided DOT inspection. Right. So Penske, like I said, Penske provides that to you. So level 1 with Penske means it exceeds it. So yes, all the above except what is as 4. What you, all the above? I can't answer that question for you. Mark, I'm about to enter the business in a week. I was excited hearing what people are saying about the box truck business. Now I'm having cold feet, but I already spent the money. What do you think? I think if you spent the money, you gotta go through with it. Now when you say spent the money on what? Did you spend the money on your truck? Now if you spent the money just on like your LLC and stuff like that, your authority, and that's the different ball game. But if you already bought you a truck, then you gotta go through with it. You know what I'm saying? People are gonna say a lot of bad things. A lot of people fail, but just because they failed doesn't mean that you're gonna fail. It is tough, but most businesses are tough. You just have to do the right due diligence to make sure that you don't fail. You know, I wouldn't let what people are saying deter me. Yes, it is a rough market right now. But that doesn't mean that you won't succeed. I don't know what due diligence you've done this far, but from this point on, I would focus on making sure that I do all the proper due diligence and I make sure that every move that I make is very efficient. Um, Even what I was talked about tonight, cash flow, making sure you don't misappropriate money. You're gonna have to work hard. You may not be able, and you may not be able to be in a position where you may have to take. You're gonna have to work, man. You're gonna have to bust your behind. You're gonna have to bust your ass. You know what I'm saying? Whatever you need to do to make that money so that business can stay afloat, then that's what you got to do. I wouldn't let it deter me. All right, I'm working on something right now that's in trucking, but it's more it's in tech. Um, and it's the competition is fierce. You know what I'm saying? Some heavy competition. I'm not letting that deter me. The worst that can happen is I just lose some money, right? I lose some money, but I can make it back, you know. But, you know, if this is something ultimately that you want to do, then I say do it. Just put your all into it and block out the naysayers that failed, you know, and just put your all into it and go for it, man. What is a SS4 form? That's your EIN form. So when you go to irs.gov website and you apply for your EIN number, that page that it says print out, that's the SS4 form. That's the name of that particular uh, uh, piece of paper. You know what I'm saying? So your SS4 form is your EIN. The paper that it gets printed out on, the form is called a SS4 form. All right, that's an SS4. All new guys should work under someone's authority for at least 8 years to learn and let their authority age. Excuse me. Okay, yes, I got all that. Yeah, so if you got, all right, so I answered that SS4 form. All right, well, if you got let me go back. What was I answer? I just bought the two. All right, so if you got the SS4 form, you got your articles of incorporation, you got to get your BOC3. All right, you got to get your BOC3, and then you need to contact a commercial insurance broker and get you some insurance. You need $1 million in general liability, $1 million in commercial auto, and 100,000 in cargo. And then he has to file those forms with the FMCSA because you're gonna need all of that to go for your authority to go active. So if you don't got your BOC3, you need to work on that, and then you need to get with a commercial insurance broker so that he can start shopping you for some insurance. All right, well, if you got all that, then you can get to work. Is your authority active? If your authority is active, then you can start working. You can download a load board, get a load board subscription. If you want, you can get a dispatcher. Some people say don't get a dispatcher. Some people do. It's up to you. You can get a dispatcher. You can download a load board. If you're running Final Mile and you got you a worker to work with you, you can apply with some Final Mile companies, Pilot, SEVA, UST, T-Force, Cardinal, NAL, JB Hunt Final Mile, Ryder Final Mile, Werner Final Mile. There's a bunch of Final Mile companies you can apply with, and you can get to work. Yeah. So if you're running Final Mile, apply with one of those companies I just named. If you're not running Final Mile, you're running Middle Mile. Get a load board subscription, or hire a dispatcher, whichever you want to do. Or you got good old Amazon Relay. All right, CRST is another good one. They have a Final Mile division, which I think is NAL. They acquired NAL. Yeah, so Aladdin, you can do one of those things I named. Final Mile, one of those companies, download a load board, hire a dispatcher, or Amazon Relay. So it sound like you ready to roll. The only thing that's holding you back is you. My truck is in Ohio. I'm in Alabama. I'm flying out to pick it up Tuesday morning. Can I get a load without my ELD device? No, I wouldn't recommend it. Because you're gonna be driving that truck when you fly out to Ohio. You're gonna be driving it back to Alabama, right? Everyone needs to know texting, email, and phone skills are very important in this industry. Yeah, communication skills are very important in this industry. Very important. Yeah, so I would get the truck. I would get it back to your home market. I would do whatever you need to do to that truck and get it prepped and ready to go for you to hit the road. I wouldn't necessarily fly out there and try to book a load coming back. I would get comfortable with the truck, get settled with the truck. So when you fly out to Ohio, drive the truck back to Alabama. While you're driving it back to Alabama, you're getting comfortable with it. When you get it back to Alabama, get it inspected. You know what I'm saying? And then whatever little things you need to do to the truck to get it prepped to your liking, your comfortability, for you to get out there and you start making you some money. I would do all that. I wouldn't fly out to Ohio, get the truck and try to book a load. I would drive the truck back home and get it inspected and you know get it right. Get it right. Make sure you got everything in it. You're not gonna fly out there with a toolbox. You're gonna need a tool set. You're gonna need your ratchets, your straps, your your tools and um, your pallet jack and all that stuff. So drive that truck back home. You're excited to get busy, man. I'm glad you're excited to get busy, man. Just make sure you do your due diligence, man, and make all the right decisions, man. Try not to make any wrong decisions. Try to limit uh, bad decisions as much as possible, man. Make sure your business has cash flow. Make sure you pay yourself um, accurately. Keep good books. Don't misappropriate funds. Don't live above don't live above your means, especially at the beginning, and make plenty of sacrifices for the business, man. Just like I said earlier, man, the business is greedy, man. Only thing the business cares about is making money. And as long as you remember that, you'll be fine. The business don't care about you personally. Your business, the only thing your business cares about is making money. All right. So as long as you keep that in mind, then you're gonna keep making money for the business and you'll be fine. Hey, he Axel wants to know, are you prepared to do over the road? Married, kids? He said he prepared. So he said he prepared, and I believe him. God damn it. So he said he prepared, so I believe him. I believe he gonna go get that bread. Billy is a newer box truck guy and doing pretty good. That's good, man. Good to hear that somebody is new that's doing good, because it seems like a lot of new people are complaining. But that all depends on how a person entered. You know, sounds like Billy, if he's doing good, sounds like he entered correctly, which is good. Shout out to all the new people in the box truck space, all the new people, all the Generation Z younger guys that are entering into the space. You know what I'm saying? The box truck industry is evolving, man. So it's turning into a solely independent contractor business. Long are the days of the master contractor. The master contractor, those days are numbered. They're coming to an end if they aren't already. Hino truck is one of the better trucks. I would recommend getting a Hino or a Freightliner. The only thing that I warn people about getting a Hino is if you live in a small market and there's not a Hino service center in your area, you may have a hard time getting that vehicle serviced. A lot of diesel mechanics don't work on Hinos because they don't have the software to diagnose it. All right, so if you go out and you buy a Hino, I don't know where you live. Make sure that there's a service center somewhere in your area, in your home market, that you can get it serviced. If not, then you may want to lean more towards Freightliner. You owe 44. Oh man, you gotta do what you gotta do, man. You said you bought the truck already, right? So man, you gotta get out there and get to it now, man. Just make you a 5 year plan, man. In 5 years, just prepare yourself to be out of it. It's not something. I'm gonna be honest with you, man. If you're 44, you can't create a long term plan for this. Your back ain't gonna allow it. Your bladder ain't gonna allow it. Your prostate ain't gonna allow it. All right. So if you're 44 and you're getting into this business now, my challenge to you is create a 5 year plan that you've taken. You've in 5 years, the money that you've made in this industry, throughout that 5 years, you're taking that money and you're investing it into something else, other streams of revenue, so that within 5 years you can transition out of that truck, either out of that truck or out of the business, and be, set up with other streams of revenue that are coming in, that are sustaining your lifestyle. I'm used to hard work and travel. I'm a union carpenter who work industrial maintenance, so hard work is what I'm used to. But still, don't make being in that truck a long term thing. Still create you some type of a plan. You know what I'm saying? Create you a plan. Um, I'm in Orlando. Yeah, check down in Orlando and see if there's a Hino down there. Yeah, I know there's a couple here. But yeah, if there's no Hino down there, then you might want to lean towards Freightliner. All right, that's about it for me, guys. I'm tired. I'm gonna knock out. Got some meetings in the morning. All right, so if there's no more questions, I'm out, and I'll be back Thursday. All right, shout out to everybody that came out to the live, everybody that had questions, everybody that got some type of value from the presentation. Keep your head up. Who was that came in and said, man, they got out, they parked their truck? Was that who was that? I forgot who that was. It was Derek. Derek, keep your head up, man. You gotta do what's best for you. Anybody else that's having a rough time, do what's best for you. To the new people that are getting into business that may have, I saw that a little discouraged. Don't be discouraged. Just make the right decisions. Talk to the right people. Make sure you consume content from the right people that are going to give you the best information. All right. I'm going to give you the best information that I can give you, that my knowledge and my experience can provide to you. And then make sure you always do your own due diligence as well, and work, man. Nothing's gonna come to a person. Nothing comes to a sleeper but a dream. So initially, at the beginning, you're gonna have to work extremely hard. Unfortunately, due to the market right now, because of the economy, you're gonna have to work a little bit even harder. But this is something you gotta do. You want to be an entrepreneur. This is what it takes to get to where you want to get to, guys. So I appreciate everybody. I'm glad I caught the end. I'm glad you did too. We need a new app for lot lizards, man. I don't want. Listen, Axel, stay away from these lot lizards, man, because one day them lot lizards gonna give you something that you may not be able to get rid of. You know what I mean? Stay away from those lot lizards, man. All right, I'm tired of you talking about lot lizards every live. Stay away from them lot lizards. You hanging out there too much anyway. Every time I talk to you at a truck stop. All right, y'all. But I appreciate y'all, man. I'll see y'all Thursday. All right, peace. Sorry, I gotta answer this guy. I just started doing roadie in my car today. Don't think I'm going to do too much gig work when I get my cargo van. Doesn't pay enough. How easy is it to get contracts with cargo vans? I came back on to answer this. See how dedicated I am to you guys? I was just finna walk away from the computer. I saw that question pop up, and my remote is my mouse is dying too, so I gotta go. How easy is it to get contracts with cargo vans? It's not hard. You just gotta figure out what you want to do. I recommend office supply work. Staples or Office Depot. You can get Office Depot with T-Force. You can get Staples with either Watco or Capstone. Just apply and go through the onboarding process. It's not hard. But what I would suggest that even with that, you're going to want to supplement that income as well. I don't know where you live at, so I don't know what the volume is in your particular area for like office supply work. But you may have to supplement that with some gig work. Another thing you can do with a cargo van is medical supply work. All right, so you can sign up with a company like Spoke Logistics, and there's some other medical supply companies that you can apply with and do medical supplies. Medical specimen, like pharmaceutical stuff, I don't necessarily recommend for a cargo van because people do that in their car, and it doesn't pay as well as the medical supplies. So I would focus on either office supplies or medical supplies, and you can apply with T-Force for Office Depot. For Staples, you can apply with Watco or Capstone. T-Force also you can do medical supplies with T-Force Medical. Spoke, you can do medical supplies. Spoke actually does pay exceptionally well, so that's a company that you want to sign up with to do medical supplies. And I wouldn't completely write off gig work because you may want to supplement some of those dedicated routes once you're done with some of those dedicated routes with some gig work. Gig work is fine if you're using it as a supplement form of income versus looking for it to make that a full-time income. If you're supplementing, then it works out fine. Some markets you can make an honest, great living with gig work if you're in a large market like here or New York or like San Francisco or LA. But if you're not, then you have to utilize it for like a supplement to something else. So hopefully this answers your question, Trey. But other than that, now I'm out, guys. I came back on. I saw that question pop up, so I'm out for real this time. Yup. Peace. See y'all Thursday.